Greetings.
Willkommen. This is your main man, Ryan Guy.
You're the main man.
I'm your main man. I didn't say I'm the main man. I said I'm your main man.
That's true. Let it be known.
Man.
Let it be known.
Ryan
we got
Guy.
Matching tattoos for nothing. It's your boy Easy.
Absolutely. And you were listening to Turtle Soup, the internet name, the world's only listener-supported podcast dedicated to the ongoing journey of the TMNT all the way from the very beginning.
Woo!
Until I overcome the boggling mental mind block that causes me to repeatedly drop my wedding ring in the shower every single time I shower.
Wow. So that's like twice
about
a week?
2 weeks now. Yeah, about 3 occasions.
Yeah.
Like it's been a thing. I'll get into in a second.
Okay.
However, we are live on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And audio
do.
listeners that listen to the audio podcast, if you ever want to hop on over, we're always live Thursday Eastern at 8 p.m. If you want to check out the show with the visuals, subscribing, hitting the bell icon to get all the notifications, all that stuff helps us out a ton, lets you know when we're doing new stuff. And if you can share the stream, if you're watching live, it lets people know we're live, and that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. We have a mystery in the show notes so far. So we have patreon.com. You know what I'm saying? Patreon.com helps us out a ton. It's how we're able to do our thing. It's how this beautiful Electro Voice RE20 microphone that I currently speak into, a microphone I've had a crush on most of my adult life, is sitting right here. Thanks to our patrons. You know what I'm saying? Allowing my silky voice to come through the microphone electronically. You know what I'm saying? Be converted to digital and then back to analog for your ear holes. You know what I'm saying? That's
totally know what you're saying. Well, just want to... I'm sorry. You're going?
No. Continue. We usually like to thank two patrons.
I know. I've got them.
Eric's gonna give me some names.
I'm gonna give you some names.
Let's go.
We're gonna thank, because the people that brought these microphones to you, which are bringing our voices to you, two of those people are Duncan Gale and Evan Roberts.
Yes.
So thank you guys
Duncan
very
Gale
much.
And Evan Roberts. Evan Roberts was a first comment on my post that we were going live tonight.
Oh,
and
nice.
He sent a picture of a trash panda, and I appreciated that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks to you two, specifically this episode's for you, and also all of our patrons that have helped us out so far. It is amazing.
Definitely.
So, Eric, speaking of amazing stuff, where are we at in the journey today, my man? What path do we tread today?
The path that we tread today is one of reflection. It's one where we're taking a look. We're taking a break, and we are.
I might need to like bow my head for this. This sounds like an invocation. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's one where we're going to reflect on the breadcrumbs that got us to where we are today, all the way starting back about 12 months ago, at the beginning of the year, and longtime Turtletarians will know this as our annual So Basically episode, and this will be volume number 5. So
volume 5
for new listeners. This, if you find our podcast feed or on our YouTube channel, eventually they'll all be up there. But for right now, the podcast feed should have them. Look for So Basicallys if you're looking at our list of episodes. You're like 270 episodes of these jerks just talking about turtles and being angry all the time. Don't want to listen to all that.
Too much.
Yeah.
How do these two grown men do this for so long? Well,
exactly.
It takes a lot.
It does. But if you want to fast track it, just find those So Basically episodes, and that'll give you a rough idea of what we've covered, what our general thoughts are on it, and what stuck out and what didn't, kind of ideas. And that way you can be current with the show. If you just want to get caught up fast enough, and then you could also still go back. I mean, it's not like we cover everything like ad nauseum like we do in the actual episodes. So there's still some things to be gleaned from both, but it's kind of freestyle your style, whatever you want to do. But it's a fun way for us to end the year. This is our first one on YouTube, so I was thinking it was going to be just like how the podcast episodes were, where we just would talk about the stuff again. However, I severely underestimated how many episodes we got out this year and what all we covered.
Visual aids would be needed.
Yeah, because
to bring the experience to that 5-star level.
Absolutely,
it's a lot.
Absolutely. And because you and I were texting today, and I'm like, yo, it's been 3 hours and I'm still getting images. And I didn't think it was going to take this long. And then you were doing some stuff on your end and then you're like, dude, this is like
I've got some
nuts.
stats on the animated series that we concluded this year that took me a long time to compile. I followed through because when we finished season 10 of the 87 animated series this year, I said I don't have any crazy stats about the animated series and how big of a part of the podcast it's been, but I will get those ready for basically volume 5, and I followed through. I could not let the word be made in vain, and I did it, and it took forever, but it's going to be a great episode. I'm super excited. We covered a lot of really interesting stuff this year, and this is the year that we started on YouTube, so it's kind of a year that straddles two sides, right? Like we started this year audio only. And and this is also our first full year of remote Turtle Soup. You know, the Turtle Soup used to be.
Is that right? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, because our last in-person episode was February of 2020, right before COVID did the thing, and now we've never recorded an episode in person since then. So this is our first full year of remote Turtle Soup, which is very interesting.
I have not thought about that in that context yet. That's wild, man. Well, real quick before we move on, I just want to say this one thing. We talked about it on the pregame a little bit, but for those wondering where the audio podcast is, we haven't forgot about you by any means. Nope. We are having some issues with our website. We're doing some upgrades, and there's a handover that's happening, and it's kind of a problem with that, mostly just trying to organize all that and get everything on the back end working. Thankfully, I was able to get one episode out this past weekend, 270, but 272, 1 and 2 are recorded and they are edited and stuff, and they're ready to go. We just have to get the website up to running back the way it should. And so hopefully, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I'm going to be able to get all the things to work. And this weekend, we should have everything good to go by the new year. And then, but yeah, it certainly wasn't a ploy to get people over to YouTube, like you brought up in the Facebook group that triggered my anxiety because I had not thought of that.
I think that you didn't keep a track of the fact that I started that rumor.
I did not.
And I'm like, yeah, because I thought the way I phrased it was supposed to be as redneck in a truck, shaky hand cam, like, listen guys, here's what they're doing in America, like I really tried to give it that vibe. And I think that it just hits you in your anxiety gargonzolas, and then you just went off on a whole nother thing.
It was this thing where normally I think of every eventuality that could happen, like all the bad things that could happen. That's what we're good at. Exactly. And so I was kind of surprised by an eventuality that I had not occurred to me, that people might think that we were using this as a ploy. And I'm like, well, dang, the businessman side of, the businessman side of me thought that, that's a great idea, but that's a way we could do it. It'd be very crooked.
Crooked ploy.
It would be
real crooked.
But then the other side of me that's a human being is like, oh no, people might actually think that. That's horrible, because that's certainly not, and I didn't think of it. Oh goodness. So it was a mess, but rest assured the episodes are coming. We haven't forgot about you. And we're also, once we get things fixed with the website, we should be able to rectify the Spotify issue, and get some stuff going for that. And hopefully it'll be a brand new year for everything. So that'll be really neat. So thank you for sticking with us.
I want to get our podcast. Yeah. I want to get our podcast on Audible, because when I look up, when I look for, my 100 millionth 40K book on Audible, I noticed that when I search up 40K, a bunch of 40K podcasts show up, and I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. Now, people aren't probably looking on Audible for TMNT audiobooks, but man, if they ever did, I'd like to be one of the first results. You know what I'm saying? Up on the Audibles. You know
what might be neat? I'm sorry, this is kind of a derailing of the episode, but you just kind of triggered something in me. What if, as a Patreon reward, this is like pie in the sky, like something, or like as a benefit for getting so many YouTube subscribers, whatever. What if we might have to call some legal people, get our legal department on the phone with some people, but what if we did audiobooks for the Turtles with some of our listeners? and like voiced it and everything. Like it would be a ton of work, but that would be insane if we did that. Like if we did the river, like an audiobook of the river and like all this stuff.
Yeah, that
like
that would
be
be
nuts.
material.
Yeah.
But we could write our own.
Oh, that'd be cool too. Yeah, we'd get
And-
Malik on there and
have people on there. Yeah.
that'd be sick. That'd be a lot of fun to do
Like
with
an audio. Do like an hour. Do we do like an hour-long audio drama?
Oh yeah, those are always neat.
That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, that might be something we have to put in the percolator. But
yeah, put that in the old bank. So once again, we have a news segment coming up, and I don't want this episode to be over long, but I do want to explain my mental block. So
okay.
And Lex asked in chat, why are you wearing your wedding ring in the shower, bud? Well, okay. So when I get in the shower, I've just always had this ritual because we have this little shower, little soap hangy shower hanging thing that hangs off of the pipe that the head comes down.
Yeah.
So it has these really convenient little hooks. Now I guarantee you that these hooks are meant to be for loofahs.
Yeah,
However, I don't use a loofah because gross. And I understand I'm a germaphobe, and this whole story is predicated on germophobia, by the way. So if you're one of those people that are like, I don't care, it's fine because that's just how I feel.
Right.
I in my intellectual mind understand that using a loofah isn't unsanitary, but I read too much about how they can like just become like gigantic. They're like a sponge. They can just become a huge bacteria laden thing.
Yeah.
And I don't use them. Anyway. But I'm sure it's supposed to be for that, but I don't use it. So I have my little, M says it's called a caddy. Thank you. It is a shower caddy. I appreciate that. And I have a friendship bracelet that my kids gave me that I always wear, right?
Yeah.
And I have my wedding ring, right? And I wear a nylon wedding ring because
you don't want to be degloved.
I don't want to get degloved. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's basically exactly what it is. I'm in the middle of too much crap. I would absolutely be that guy. So I wear them in the shower because I wear them all the time.
Yeah.
I never think to take them off until I'm in the shower. But it's okay because there's the little hook guy. And I'm like, I'm good. Take off the friendship bracelet, take off the ring, put them both on the hook. I'm good to go. Well, one time I was at the end, so I get done with my shower full on.
Okay.
And then my germaphobe self, I get my hands lathered up with soap. Then I take my ring and my friendship bracelet and I kind of wash those, like I scrub them like in my hands to get them clean.
Yeah.
Then I put them on and rinse my hands and I'm done. That's the last thing I do in the shower, basically. It's that. So I got messed up where I was going for the ring and there's a little ball at the end of the hook and it just hit it and knocked it on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which sucks because, as you know, being a germaphobe, I understand that the shower floor, if there's bacteria anywhere, it's there.
Yeah.
And it resulted in me having to really like scrub a dub, like clean that ring like crazy when I got it off the shower floor because I was just like not about it. Like I had like a thing about it and whatever. I'm not lying to you that when I would say that I have dropped the ring every time I've taken a shower since. Okay, this has been like 2 weeks, so like 5-6 times.
Okay.
I shower every day. I don't think it's necessary. It's not really healthy either. But I would say, yeah, out of like 6-7 opportunities, I reach over, look at the ring, I grab it, and the nylon ring it squishes. It's not like solid.
Right.
And it kind of moves with my finger, and I think, hey man, don't drop the ring.
Right.
And I pull it off the hook, and the little ball at the end hits it, and it falls on the ground. And I'm like, okay, bend over, grab that, make a scrubs. And I think, okay. And the first couple times I was like, that's funny. Now it's just ongoing. I psych myself out, guys, getting my ring off of this dumb hook on this caddy thing.
Yeah.
And I have dropped it without fail, not intentionally, trying not to. I've had a hand under it.
Yeah.
I've done all this stuff, but the last second before I pull it off, my mind goes, whoop, don't drop it. And I drop it. And honestly, it's gotten to the point now where I psych myself up before I get in the shower.
Oh, okay.
Like actually, as I'm waiting for the shower to warm up, I'm standing there going, look, we know we're going to put the ring on the hook. Friendship bracelet too. We know that we're going to do that. We don't need to psych ourselves out. I still do it.
Still do it. Dang.
So this podcast is going to run until at least I can get through that.
At least you can get through
because
that.
I need the podcast for like mental support. Because if I didn't have the podcast and I was psyching myself out, dropping the ring in the shower every time,
you'd be in bad business.
I mean, I don't know what would I have left?
Oh, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like what would be left? I don't quite know.
Yeah, thankfully, I've managed to subvert that with my wife and I. We got wedding toe rings, and so I don't really have that issue with it falling off, and it's just always got bacteria on it. It's more of a symbol of our love.
Well, that was the unfortunate thing. So that was the unfortunate thing. I tried to tell you about this before you did it, but I'm just going to blow it up on the podcast because you didn't listen to me, and I told you I would make you feel loud and wrong.
You did.
I told you about Sheryl Crow concerts, and I told you that one of the, and this is just for everybody if you didn't know, one of the hard things when you go out to a Sheryl Crow concert, and it's one of those where it's like a festival and you have to have a little tent.
Yeah.
That part of the Sheryl Crow fanhood initiation is that if you go to sleep, you wake up and every one of your toes has a silver ring on it.
I forgot about this. Yes.
This tradition dates back to Lilith Fair. And I told you about this, and you laughed, and you said, no, nobody's going to put rings on my toe. And then you woke up, and how many were there, Eric?
There was 11.
Correct.
Yeah, let that sink in. So, yeah, but
still. And now
they
those
don't fall
little
off,
silver
though.
things, they won't come off.
No.
They can't come off at this point. So, I mean, like, you're kind of dealing what you deal. I mean,
that's true.
I got to say, one thing I like about it, hanging out at your house, I mean, I can always hear you coming.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
click, clack, click, clack. It's like the bell on a cat's collar. You know what I'm saying? I hear you coming, and I'm like, oh,
it's like
that's
a herd of tiny ponies. Just a herd of them. But yeah,
it is a herd of tiny ponies.
It is. But man, so you got a pipe coming out of your shower? That's kind of cool. My hose is kind of it doesn't hold nothing.
I was waiting for the loop. What's the other side of that joke?
Yeah, I was trying to find a way to get it in there, but
it's actually really bad. It's really bad because I like to use the shower style, like the shower style heads. Wow, I mean, in a shower, I hope so.
I mean, you never know.
The rainfall ones.
Oh yeah.
And effectively, my shower head looks like
you act like we've never showered together before.
Oh,
sorry.
This is
I forget.
And you're supposed to act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Actually, so like you're bringing kayfabe. Like you're not even keeping it right now. Now it's just out in the open. I mean, like wrestling's fake, y'all. It just is.
Right.
Like okay. Like I guess we're just gonna live it like that. But it looks like the bridge or the dish saucer section from the Enterprise D. Like if you look at it on the side, it literally comes up. Like the pipe comes up, and then this like saucer comes over. It has the same shape as the Enterprise D. I think that's super cool. You know, I'm like, oh, that's sick. It's kind of like, it's pretty sweet. But the problem is, like, in Florida, we have hard water a lot of times. And depending on where you live, like, it may be more or less hard. Now, my water's not super hard with minerals, but it does have some because it's Florida.
Right.
And, there's like a million little holes, but they all start getting clogged with, like, calcium.
Yeah.
Like, little by little. And eventually, I turn the shower on at one point, and I'm like, I'm just not getting wet.
Yes.
I'm like under the shower, and I'm like, well, this feels like there's two kids with like two like ketchup bottles full of water just going spraying down on me, and that's all I get.
Yeah.
So you have to reach up and try to like clean it, because I'm like, oh, I need at least 10 of these to work so I can get my shower going, and that's my current shower woes.
Well, there you go.
I don't know what kind of shower head you use, but there you go.
It's I don't know. It doesn't look like the Enterprise, I'll tell you that, because if it did, I'd shower a lot more. So it does. I need to fix that. In the new house, I'm going to try to fix that. That's like my top priority.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to ask my realtor. I'm going to be like, hey, does this have an Enterprise shower head? Or else I don't want it. I'm not putting down a down payment for that.
Can the saucer detach or what? Like, is that a thing?
Exactly. Well, speaking of detaching, we're going to detach for some juicy news.
Juicy news.
News.
It's news.
We got news.
It happens.
Oh my goodness.
We got news. Toy news. It's incoming.
It's incoming and it's here. Oh my goodness. So much stuff. So yeah, if you are an action figure fan, a Ninja Turtles fan, or a movie fan, even that, you're going to be happy this coming year. What is it? 20K22, 22, a bunch of twos next year, whatever it is. You're going to be so happy
yep.
just because we're going to tell you, because Ryan, there's so many things. Like we took a little break for the holidays, and we talked about, as we do before each show, and you were like, we got a little bit of news. I was like, no, we have a lot of news, Ryan, a lot, a whole heaping spoonful.
Opened up the show notes. I was like, that is a ton.
That is a ton.
That is a ton of news.
And so what's happened is that the last time we did a new segment, NECA had put out their checklist with the 12 days of downloads, and it was I believe it was the cartoon and video game checklist. Now, they have no, excuse me, it wasn't the cartoon, it was the comic. It was comic and video game checklist, which they revealed that they're finally putting out Trag and Granitor in the video game thing, and then also Fugitoid in the comics line, which is really neat. Well, they followed this up with a couple of different things. They followed it up with a few more checklists. We get the animated series checklist as well as the movie Turtles checklist. On top of that, they did an interview with a site that's near and dear to me, the Fwoosh. They did an interview with them where the Fwoosh interviewed on their podcast, the Fwooshcast. They interviewed Trevor Zammit. There we go. I was trying to find the name. Who is a head guy at NECA and is the guy that they normally interview when it's not like a convention, because normally they get Randy, who's like way up in NECA, to do stuff. But they get Trevor, and Trevor's really cool, and like I've enjoyed all the interviews they've done with him because he's like seems like a real good guy and like really loves this stuff and knows his turtle stuff. Like it's one of those things. Like I'm sure Ryan, like you've had it where someone starts talking about you're watching something and someone mentions turtle stuff and they try to bring up some trivia and you're like, are they going to nail it? And then because we know a lot, having done just by virtue of doing the show for as long as we have, and this dude knows his stuff. Like just knows it, and so it's really neat. So head on over to the Fwoosh website, Fwoosh.com, and check out their interview or their podcast and with him, because it's really good. But we're gonna break down some of the highlights here tonight for you. And yeah, there's a lot, so buckle in, because we got a lot to talk about. Now, you ready to see some of this stuff? Let me see if I can get us over to the
absolutely
behind the scenes real quick here. Let me see what do I want to do. I want to do a fade. I'm gonna do a fade over there. Whoa, look at that. There we go. Woo, just, magic. So here
what if every fade you ever did in a live show like this had the risks, carried the same risks as a Star Trek transporter accident?
Oh, that would, I feel kind of like it does. Like I feel like the weight is there, because if the live stream dies, then it's a life that dies, and one life, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Like, what do we, all kinds of things. So, but speaking of things that are not few, we have many turtle figures,
Not
Ryan.
few.
Goodness, many
Yes.
few. What? Yes, words. So, this is the checklist. We're going to come back to this quite a bit in this little segment. But the first thing that, and I'm not going to zoom in yet, because the first thing that I want to touch on is that they show the neutrinos. And this is the Fwoosh got an exclusive where they got, if I'm not mistaken, they got promo images of the neutrinos from the NECA cartoon line, and here they are. So this is Kala, Dask, and Zach. And these things look like they just walked off the screen. It's fantastic. Like
it's typical NECA perfection out of these guys. They're
so good. And I love it because I think they're actually going to be shorter. I don't think I've seen them. I don't think I have any photos of them with any other.
Yeah, like in scale.
Yeah. But they're probably going to be shorter, like, because they're kind of kids in the cartoon, at least in the 87 animated series. And these are really
hot
neat.
rodding teenagers from Dimension X.
There you go. Dang, got them. And I always loved their designs, and that was one of the coolest things that was made for the animated series were these characters, like, and especially in like that first season, like, just this brings me so much joy, and like I didn't know how I would feel.
I mean, when they hit that first season, they look like anime as hell. Like
they do.
Like when that first season looked like very Japanese, and it looked really cool, and having them show up, I mean, like with like the hot rod they drive, and they just looked like so cool.
It did, and I loved everything about it, and I didn't know how I'd feel seeing it, because like a lot of like my anticipation for NECA's figures, like I kind of don't like think too much about it. I just let it happen, like a wave just coming over me.
Yeah.
And this is a great feeling. Like I am like super excited about these figures, and they're gonna come with a lot of accessories apparently, like a ton of stuff.
So
like,
they're gonna be a 3-pack as well, right?
Yes,
like,
they're gonna be a
seeing.
3-pack.
Like,
technically,
I was about to say, because like, don't make me choose, because
no.
that if I had to choose, it'd have to be Kala, because
it has to be.
That's the one that Mikey had the crush on, and you got to
Absolutely.
have her if you got Mikey. That's the
you
thing.
do. It's a thing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, technically I think it's going to be a 5-pack, but we'll get into that in a second. But their accessories are insane. Like the stuff that they come with, apparently they're going to come with like, a freeze ray and some tracking devices. Like that's one of the things that Trevor was saying on the interview, was that his goal is by the end of the toy line is to have made every single tracker that appears in the animated series, because Krang and between Krang and Donatello, like,
oh yeah,
their tracker collection is insane,
full of it.
And
Absolutely.
so yeah, but they're coming with all kinds of accessories, and the thing I'm really excited about that I didn't know I wanted, but I love, is that they're coming with hoverboards, and that's cool as hell. Like that's just sick. I just love it.
Basically, like it's a display stand that is also an accessory.
Absolutely.
Which is
2
sick.
birds. You know what I'm saying? I love that.
Absolutely.
And you can kind of see Trag, I think, over there in the corner next to them. And so
yep, there he is.
They look like they should be coming up to about his chest, which is awesome. Now Trag's a little bit bigger, I think, but still, that's pretty rad. And I am super excited about these guys. Now, I was saying that it might be a 5-pack. Now, what I meant by that is that they're coming with 2 extra pack-along figures, if you will. And those characters...
Pack-along buddies.
Pack-along buddies. They are these 2 characters right here. Now...
Perfect.
So the baby that... I would say the baby that you're seeing, is Baby Tribble. Now, this is a neutrino baby from Season 4, Episode 6 of the 1987 animated series, entitled 4 Turtles and a Baby. And this is a very like weird episode, but I love it, and it's a weird thing to have a toy of. Is just a baby. That's just
absolutely is weird. Yeah,
but I'm glad they did it. Like this is fantastic. And then the creature next to it is a thing called a Gribbix. Now the Gribbix are a telekinetic creature that are kept by like as pets in Dimension X by some people. And it appeared in Season 3, Episode 41, which like made me realize like, oh goodness, I forgot there are 41 episodes of Season 3
absolutely.
of the 87 animated series. And that episode's entitled The Gribbix. And so they're coming with them, and that's just value right there. That's just, standard issue for NECA, but
absolutely. Well, I remember the Gribbix was super annoying in the episode because they're telekinetic and the turtles didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
So he's hanging. They're like, "Oh, that guy's cute," and he starts like moving stuff around. And Turtle's like, "Oh shit, that's a problem." Also, your boy Mitch Fletcher in the chat right now, big, obviously huge TAS fan.
Yeah.
Psyched up by that Gribbix.
That Gribbix, it's so cool.
And I love that NECA is moving in and doing these, frankly, like one-off small characters. And I love the pack-in idea.
Yeah,
because because Baby Tribble and the Gribbix on its own, like we're not looking to buy those dudes, really, right? That's hard to come off your.
I'm not dropping 30 for a Baby Tribble. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying, but I am about the fact that the pack along it just lets you expand that collection. I'm a big fan.
It does. Huge fan. Those are expected to be out second quarter of 2020 or 2022. Yeah, there we go. And so that's what we could expect from them, and that was a huge highlight for me. Going back to the checklist now, let's see if we can mull around here and see what else we got. So we got our neutrinos, and then we've got Usagi Yojimbo, or Usagi Yojimbo. Let's see here.
And we saw previously all we had access to of him was a 3D render.
That's true. Yes.
That broke a little while before, and this is, I think, our first time seeing him in color.
Absolutely.
With paint.
Absolutely. And he looks fantastic. Just, I am
that's pretty much
so giddy. Yeah.
That's pretty much the perfect Usagi Yojimbo. That's like the one that they've been. I feel like they've been like kind of darting around the perfect Usagi for a while throughout the years. Like they get there. Everyone's got their own spin though. Everyone's got their own spin, and that is Usagi from the comics. Like absolutely.
Yeah, and
like,
then
100%.
And then yes, from the comics, also from the animated series, because I was listening to our review of the actual Playmates figure that came out back in the day, like back in the old Turtle Soup when we did back on that episode. I forget what episode it was, 27 I think it might have been, or 28, one of the two.
Maybe.
And it's up. It should be up on YouTube. If it's not, it will be later. But we were talking about it, and we forgot we hadn't made it in the journey to his appearance in the animated series. So I had thought that the original Playmates version of that Usagi Yojimbo was how he looked in the animated series. No. He looks just like this, and this is pretty much how he looks on the comics too. So that's I love that. Now I appreciate how Playmates did their version. Like that's just nostalgia for me because that was my first introduction to Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah,
but
I mean, of course.
I'll take them all. So but this is really cool. They hinted at potential for more figures. Like they've said that they've talked to Stan Sakai, the creator of Usagi Yojimbo, and basically from what I could tell and what I was picking up, and I might be inferring some stuff or assuming too much, but it seemed like they might be wanting to do a Usagi Yojimbo line, like a side branch of this collection. Yeah, because a few of his other characters have been in Turtle lines over the years. I know that Gen, Gen, and there was some other character, I think it was a villain, that showed up in the 2003 line. And yeah, so I think that they're hoping to try to get some traction with that with Stan, and I think there was interest. So hopefully that gets going because bring them on. I'll take them all. So
that'd be pretty great.
Super excited about that. Now, the other thing that came out is let's see if I can find it here while I'm still zoomed in. Actually, I don't know where it is. Let me. I think it's further down here. So we have Toka and Razor in their cartoon appearance colors, which is really neat.
I love Toka's color.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah, they pop. It's insane.
Like lime green, kind of like that's awesome.
It is. Now, if you don't remember, they showed up, and let's see, I don't remember. Is it episode 11? Yeah, episode 11 of season 7 of the 1987 animated series. That was their one and only appearance, if I'm not mistaken. And the episode was called Dirk Savage Mutant Hunter. And yeah, that was an episode. And in that episode, they appear, which is really cool because like you weren't sure if they were going to bleed over from the movies like into the animated series. They did. And all they really did, they didn't have any real weapons in the show. All they did was eat. And from what I got from the interview with NECA is that they're going to come with a ton of food, like a ton of food accessories, which is really awesome.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
I like it.
And looking at this zoomed in, like this is the first time I'm zooming in on these. I wasn't going to, I was probably going to skip them. I had kind of told myself that, if I need to, I can not get them. Yeah. But zooming in, there's no way. I'm going to have to. Like, they look so good. And they're not just repaints of the movie figures that came out. No, not at all. No. This is all new stuff. And they even confirmed verbally.
I like the look. I mean, I think every Turtles fan has a complicated, interesting relationship with Toka and Razor. I think
absolutely.
They're probably, I gotta say honestly, they're probably the most controversial characters in the TMNT universe.
That's fair. Like, yeah.
I don't know if there's too many more characters that are that controversial. Really, I think they're very polarizing. People adore them because they're in the second movie, and almost they kind of mourn that they weren't done more with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you have people that are really big Bebop and Rocksteady fans who don't like Toka and Razor because they're like, well, Bebop and Rocksteady should have been in movie 2. There's a lot of things you hear about Toka and Razor. They are very divisive.
I hadn't actually thought about that.
Yeah.
Until you brought it up.
You'll never know, but I would love to know how these sell.
Oh yeah.
because I feel like there's people that are gonna have to get them because they love the characters, and there's people that are gonna be like, I don't want them because I remember them from the movie. I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, that's true. But I am a huge fan, and I like just looking at Razor, like he looks. They just did such a good job nailing this, and
That's the best. I'll be 100. They look better there than they looked in the movie.
I agree.
Like
I agree.
actually, that looks way more acceptable to me.
Yeah.
You know. Also, checking in with chat, Mike Hatfield says that a Usagi line will get all of my money.
Ooh, you and me both. Yes. Well, speaking of things that get our money, NECA's branching out even further, Ryan. And this is something I didn't think they would get into. I'm going to scroll over here and just kind of try to tease that. What do you see there? Crooked Ninja Turtle Goon.
That is a member of the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang.
Yes. Ryan.
I know this might sound odd.
Yeah.
But it could be one of the figures out of this entire line I'm the most excited about.
I know.
I must have him.
I know. Like, it's fantastic.
Crooked Ninja Turtle Gang and the Cash for Slash Dojo is so important to the history of the show.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. And my only thing, and this is very minor, I'd like to see a little more pictures, like kind of different angles, is I wish that they had gone with the heavy-bodied guy.
So they brought that up. They made allusions to the fact, to that their leader, I guess, was or something like they have a master or a sensei that's a little bit heavier set. And so they addressed that. And the funny thing about these NECA interviews with the Fwoosh is that, you know, the way that the toy industry used to be, or at least like how we remember it back when like Masters of the Universe Classics was starting out, and there was so much like unknown, like we didn't know if they were going to get to anything. The way that NECA and these interviews have been going is more like, hey, we're doing everything. So it's just a matter of when. And as long as you keep buying this stuff, they're doing every single thing that they can do.
Okay.
And so it's kind of funny that they address it, but I mean, they can't wait. They can't say anything until I think Toy Fair, if that actually happens this year, coming year. So yeah, that's when they said that there's going to be some stuff that gets revealed, but I don't know if it's going to be this. But yeah, no, I am all about this Crooked Ninja Turtle Goon. And then, you know, they have the Rock Soldier Infantryman, which I think these are both going to be 2-packs like together, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was mentioned, and that's cool because like they stylized him a little bit, the Rock Soldier, to where he doesn't look just like General Trag, because sometimes like they kind of did in the animated series, but. Yeah, so and he's fine, but the Crooked Ninja Turtle Gang is where it's at, and I keep
Mitch
hearing.
Fletcher says that the leader's name is Smash for the Slash for Cash Dojo.
That's right.
I had the dojo right.
Yeah,
Smash. Yes.
Because I keep hearing Smash's voice in my head because I forget his name, but I know that he voiced a character on Dino Riders, and I think he was a pretty prominent voice actor. But it just keeps like echoing in my head every time I see it. I was like, the Crooked Ninja Turtle Gang. Like I can't do it, but it just keeps going. So anyway, that's really hype. And I think the last thing for the cartoon stuff is that they had said that they are going to, let me see if I can find her. They're going to be doing a different take on Miss April O'Neil. They mentioned that they were not completely pleased with their first pass at April, and that they are going to be reissuing her. Now, I'm excited because I was unable to find her in the stores at all, and I liked what I saw of people's pictures, but I heard a lot of gripes too from some people, and they seemed valid from what I could tell because I don't have the figure. But yeah, they definitely said that they are going to be taking another stab at April, and so that is something to be looking forward to as well. Now, moving on to some movie
really
turtle
fast,
news.
Just update your boy Mitch Fletcher, Peter Cullen voice Smash, aka Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime. Okay, yeah. I didn't want to say it and be loud and wrong, so thank you, Mitch, for coming in and bailing us out. But yeah. So so now on to movie turtles. So let me see if this will work. So boop. So we got our movie turtles checklist, and now this has the first movie, movie 1, and movie 2 now, which we've seen a lot of characters from, But well, mostly Toka and Razor and a bunch of Shredder variants. But now they're getting into what just happened there? Jump back. So now they're getting into movie 2 Turtles. And yeah, so they are going to be making all 4 Turtles from Secret of the Ooze. And you might be wondering, well, aren't they pretty much the same? No. There's a lot of subtle differences and in fact more
absolutely in the costumes and stuff. Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah. So apparently there's going to be a bunch of new sculpting. Basically the only reused part, let's see, it was Leo's belt, like part of it, and then their legs, hands, and feet. Everything else is supposed to be brand new sculpt. And let's see, it said that they're going to come with a ton of accessories because that's one of the big things in that movie is there's a ton of stuff that they're touching and using.
Well, because they can't use their weapons, so they have to use all this other crap to fight people.
You know, like I understood that like intellectually. I understood that intellectually, but I didn't comprehend it. I didn't like apply that knowledge until you just said it. Dang, man. Like there's so much here and I'm so excited about it.
I mean, so my question is, does each of these figures come with a gigantic set of movie lights? So when you combine them all together, the movie's too well lit. And it's too bright colored.
Right, because everything was bright in that movie. Oh my goodness, that'd be amazing.
Like,
I'd take that. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that'd be so good. Well, a couple of things they definitely confirmed was the combat cold cuts will be coming. Half-eaten pizza, because they said that the first movie had full slices of pizza. He's like, we need to have some half-eaten ones. That's legit.
Okay.
And a bunch of junk food that's going to be coming. They also mentioned that a ton of accessories, like a separate accessory pack is going to be sold with this because there's so much stuff that they've sculpted. And specifically, they're going to have a few different head sculpts because of how like expressive the turtles were in that movie. And
is this where you're going to try to get your entry into the Ernie Reyes Jr. head?
It might be.
Is this what could this be the culmination of your desire?
It could be.
Right here, right now. Is this your target?
If they make it, well, speaking of Ernie Reyes Jr., his character Kino in the movie, everyone loves him. Well, he's another like what were you saying about Toka and Razor? Like he's another character that people are a little divisive about. We love him here at the show, and they mention him in the interview, and they say some key characters, and just making jokes on the name. So they're definitely going to make Kino. Like there's no way they're not. However, if they make it to where you can put Kino's head on the turtles' bodies, which I would hope they would, because it seems like NECA's as thorough as like we want them to be. They've seen those behind the scenes footages of him, because if you didn't know, Kino was a stunt actor from the first movie. I don't know if he did any in the second movie. I don't know if he was in the suits.
Right?
I think he was Raphael in the first movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was in the second one.
A fighting guy.
Yes.
He did a lot of the fight stuff that was more complicated.
Right. And so there's scenes of him without the Raphael head, but the body is there, and like we need that figure. So, but if we can make it, if we can hodgepodge it together, like I'll settle for that. But he's definitely coming. And yeah, that's what they're doing with the movie 2 figures. Now,
perfect.
Then we scroll down a little bit more. Let's see, I might have to zoom out a little bit. And we have our Mutagen Tour, what they're calling it, the musical Mutagen Tour figures. And then something that kind of
their shells.
Right, but I guess they couldn't call it that for copyright reasons or something.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not.
But I don't know if you can see, but can you see down at the bottom that's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cross Universal Monsters wave down there, right?
Which we've been covering heavily.
Yes. Yes, we've been following this. Now, here's the thing. One thing we didn't know. This is reveal. If this is on the movie checklist, Ryan, then that means that this is going to be loosely based on the movie Turtle figures, right? Ostensibly, like connecting them.
Yeah, they're cousins, basically, yeah.
So that would stand to reason that they might use Judith Hoag as April as Bride of Frankenstein.
Bride of Frankenstein. Yeah, okay.
Goodness. So I hadn't thought about that until we saw this. Then I went and listened to the interview. They confirmed that was the thing that got them to do this, was talking about Judith. And they said if Judith is on board with this, they're going to go forward with it. And she was, apparently. And we here at Turtle Soup, we got some strings we can pull. We got some stuff. We have an exclusive look at what this prototype might actually be. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick here. That's probably what the figure is going to look like right there. That's Judith Hogue is, as April, as the Bride of Frankenstein. Are you all right?
Check back in with me in a couple minutes.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot to process because it's a little rough. I think this is prototype stage, but the idea is there, and I mean I think she looks electrifying. So yeah. So
that could be the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life.
Imagine
when you
making
said you were
it.
going to do a Photoshop mock-up of like, trying to get like kind of what it looks like.
So
I never thought it would be that. That's really good.
No. I felt like Dr. Frankenstein creating this.
And with all the horror involved, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of nuts.
Judith Hogue as Bride of Frankenstein. I am very excited about this possibility.
Yes.
I will say NECA and all not all joking aside, half joking aside, we gotta do something about those knees.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to say about like let's not like let's not repeat the knee situation. Now, of course, Bride of Frankenstein doesn't have flesh knees, so maybe it won't be nearly the same problem.
That's true.
That we had. But I'm just saying, like, we gotta make sure his knees are right.
Right.
Bring my girl Judith into this figure.
Exactly.
Now, and if she looks like that, we might have some problems. This is a what not to do.
Yeah.
This is a what not to do.
Don't just Photoshop.
But don't just Photoshop it.
Yeah. So that kind of broke my brain about that. I was nowhere thinking about the movie connection.
No. That's
that was
crazy.
Awesome. Now, they said that there might be more. They kind of danced around it, but basically they said they have at least 4 more figures for this line. Obviously, Donatello included, and then 3 other characters, and that possibly maybe another 4. But that one was a little weird. So
another one,
and another one. So that's cool.
One.
So a lot to look forward to from NECA in the Turtles Monsters Universal Monsters line, which is really cool. Now, lastly, let me see. I don't have any photos of this. I don't think, because I don't think they did a checklist. But I'll just go back to the regular checklist for this. So, one thing they said was that they were going to do. They're doing Mirage Comics again, like those figures, because we mentioned that with the Fugitoid, that he's going to be the first one to bring it back. Now, a couple of things they said about Fugitoid was that he has bendy arms, which I can go either way on. I don't know.
You initially said you might be being taken with all this new fun information. You initially said that you weren't down with bendy arms, bro. You said not. Like,
I'm not.
If he's got bendy arms, I'm not down.
I have seen some. I think bendy technology, Ryan, has advanced a lot further than maybe. I'm willing to accept that. Like that's kind of where I'm coming to.
Okay.
Like if you put an olive branch, if it's a bendy olive branch that comes my way, I might bend it. You know what I'm saying?
If it looks good when it's bent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. If it does, if it doesn't,
you know what I'm saying?
Get out of here.
I mean, I would rather bend from 6 to midnight than bend down from midnight down to 6 back again.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm trying to say? I think that's kind of the what you're trying to say.
That is exactly what I'm trying to say. Yes, in a more elegant way. So gonna have bendy arms. And let's see, what else is there? Oh, so the comic line is going to replace the video game line in specialty stores. So I believe you picked up your Jess Harley Leatherhead from, I think, FYE in the mall.
Yes, I did.
So if I'm not mistaken, those stores, like specialty stores like them and comic shops, they're going to get the video game, the Mirage figures instead of the video game figures. Now they're going to switch over. They said they're not done with video game figures. They're just taking a break and moving. Now, once they do this, there's definitely going to be more coming this coming year, more comic figures. And specifically, Kevin Eastman will be working on the box art. Now, with that being said, the Fwoosh was saying that they're like, well, it's neat because the 2008 comic figures that we got originally when NECA started all this, they have a they kind of draw a lot more from Peter Laird's style of figures or his art. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can see that. Well, they neither confirmed nor denied that since Kevin's going to be doing the box art, that maybe these figures that they're going to redo, because they said they are going to redo the Turtles again, that they might be more akin to Kevin's style. And that is fantastic to have both distinct styles.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's rad. I am so excited about that.
I'm with that.
And yeah,
absolutely.
So that's pretty much all of the news. Like that's pretty much everything from this interview and the checklist and everything.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, like that was a big drop right there.
It was.
But I think it lays out a really cool kind of roadmap for like what we can see in the future. Judith Hogan's Brian Frankenstein. Brian Frankenstein is going to be amazing.
Oh yeah, you're getting choked up over it just thinking about it. Like, goodness. And like, she's fantastic. But now the other thing to think about, and I just thought about this. Like, I wonder if they're going to get Paige now that they're doing more Secret of the Ooze stuff, because the only other characters from that are Paige. We still don't have Skeet Ulrich from the first movie, or what's his name? Oh goodness, what's his name? He was in Iron Man 2. But he's this like famous actor, but he was also a Foot Clan guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, like he was a kid back then, but now he's like a famous actor. We don't have him, and we still don't have Tatsu. They didn't mention Tatsu. Now, last time they did an interview, they talked about Tatsu and that they're trying to get a hold of him to do it. No mention of Tatsu. Hopefully, no news is good news. But yeah, but still, we haven't seen anything from Paige. We haven't even heard them talk about her at all, and she she's movie 2 and 3, so that's eventually they're gonna have to acknowledge
she plays April in the majority of them. Absolutely.
She does now. So I think that's all the other human figures, well, except for the professor that's in movie 2. So there's him too, but yeah, so that's an interesting thing. I'm just super excited about this. It's a great time to be a toy fan, and especially a Turtles toy fan.
Yeah.
So yeah,
when I'm not choking on my drink, I'm really excited about Judith Hoag as Brian Frankenstein. I think that I like the move to kind of switch out the video game line in the specialty stores. I think that they have been saturated a little bit there. I know at my FYE there's several of the video game Turtles, and I think one Shredder that just haven't moved. You know what I mean? And I think and now granted they've been selling them, because they had a lot. I remember having to go through like a ton of boxes, and they were kind of on the bottom shelf, classic, like stacked like 4 deep. I had to like play games trying to figure out like, okay, how many Leatherheads are there? Like which one has the best paint app? Playing all this game. Right now, there's like 4 there total. Yeah, like 2, two, and then like 2 behind them. And so they've definitely moved through them, which is great. I do love the idea of trying to get switching out with Mirage, and the idea of Kevin Eastman inspired figures would be really great too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So hype about that. Real quick in the chat, John Clemens with Sam Rockwell. Thank you very much, John, because that was going to bother me.
Yeah,
Sam Rockwell from movie 1.
Regular or menthol.
Needs to come with cigarettes. They have to, and like some other juvenile paraphernalia. But yeah, are you excited about all this, guys? Let us know. Hit us up in the comments. Email us, turtlesoup@gmail.com. Let us know what you're excited about, what you're looking forward to. What are the figures you think they're never going to make? Like, what's like the most obscure thing you can think of, and the chances that they're going to make it? Like, is there anything?
I saw a call in the chat. I saw a call in the chat way earlier from Mr. Og. So I'm just saying,
Mr. Og. Oh yeah,
that's where I'm setting my stars on, because Mr. Og figure would be today.
Would be day and date. Yeah, you just get it.
Like I would fly to China and steal that shit just to have it early. You know what I'm
just
saying?
to have it.
I got those molds too on there. Now it's just mine.
Right now you just make it.
Now I make little Mr. Ogs out of ice and shit, like water, and like do what I can. Popsicles.
You'll have the monopoly on Nog. Og.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah, Mr. Og.
let us know. turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. In the comments below, let us know what you're excited about and what you're looking forward to and all of that good stuff. And yeah, that's going to do it for the news. So we'll catch you on the Prime side. Else time. Oh, that was quick. That was just like.
Oh, there was no. Just a switch. That was no fade or nothing.
That was just.
You know
I just blinked and we were here. Goodness.
No.
That's nuts. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we at now?
Who dog? Was that a news segment or what? I think we are. Mitch Fletcher in the chat asked if we ever looked at the Playmates Movie Star Turtles. We absolutely did. We've covered every toy that Playmates made before '96, including at this point, including a lot of '96. And absolutely Movie Star Turtles that came out around the time of like movie 2 and stuff like that. We totally reviewed. He asked for an episode number. I can't run. Oh, absolutely. Wait, no, just trust.
No, I know.
Trust this elephant over here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Because he says I didn't care for those because they looked all warty. Absolutely, they looked like they had warty liver spots.
They did. I liked them, but. I get it. I understand why people don't.
And the retro release is a huge step backwards. I mean, absolutely. That those turtles we just never liked those.
Yeah.
Saw what they were going for. I remember I could even literally see the card. I can see
I can
the
definitely
actual
see the card.
Card they were mounted to. It had the film like going around, like like the actual film print with like the pictures of them in the movie. I can see it in my head. I know we reviewed them. I can't tell you what episode that is, but I believe that they were released around the time that movie 2, so I'd say like 92.
Yeah,
I would start going back to there and taking a look. We definitely did them, and I agree at the time. Now, granted, I mean, what they're capable of with paint app alone now and sculpt alone, given that we're digitally sculpting, that's another thing. I mean, digital rendering and digital sculpt versus hand sculpt is just another ball game.
Absolutely.
So, hopefully these movie 2 turtles, when we get bigger, higher definition in-hand photos or artist mock-up photos, will undoubtedly look better.
Yeah.
Because Playmates Movie Star Turtles that came out in time were
I didn't like how rubbery they were. Like they were so rubbery.
They were rubbery and they
looking.
put this weird like frog texture on their skin, which didn't work for turtles.
No.
Especially it was really annoying because they didn't give it to the punk frogs. And I'm kind of like, well, wouldn't they need the frog texture?
You would
and
think.
Then they were like, oh, but also liver spots.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that doesn't make anybody look good. I don't care who you are.
What if that was the Super Slimalingus? What if that's what that was? That could be what that was on them.
That's true. Maybe. Oh, have April's aunt, the detective, have her make a figure of her.
Oh yeah,
and have her have her white glove with that finger and that blob of sewer Slimalingus.
Oh, right, where she
Because you could pose her with April. April's blown out. She's like, "Oh, I found your boot, sewer Slimalingus," and like April's there, like, get wrecked. It'd be so good. That'd be so good.
It would.
So. I don't know, man. I mean, are you ready to get into this so basically situation?
I am.
Are you ready to actually launch this trip? You know what I'm saying? Down memory lane for all of our longtime listeners and most importantly, our first timers that are maybe using this as a way to get into the podcast. Are you ready to jump into this thing?
I think so. You ready to do it?
I am. Okay. So basically. Fifth year. You know what I'm saying? Fifth year that we have made. Thank you.
Yeah.
I always like to start this segment with some year-end stats. I crunch some numbers, and I try to look at how we performed this year and kind of like what we've done.
Yeah.
So, man, if we set it to music and I was counting in music, you'd just be 6 midnight, wouldn't you?
6 midnight. All of a sudden, just woo.
Like, oh man, this house could burn down right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be set to go.
Yep.
So this year, 2021, was important for a few things. One, I mentioned earlier, we started YouTube this year.
We did
with episode 250 was our premiere on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the first full year that we've done remote. We've never done an in-person episode this year, and the first year that we were on YouTube.
Yeah.
We released 38 episodes this year, averaging 3.17 episodes a month. So that is pretty good, given that we basically took November off.
That's true.
That just happened.
And that doesn't include bonus episodes.
No.
So
it does not.
There's that too.
It does not. Our longest episode this year was episode 259, Mini Mikey's Mighty Morphin Mustache Misadventure, which I'm very glad I get to say that episode title again because I had a lot of fun saying it the first time. Yep. That episode ran 3 hours and 37 minutes. Our shortest episode this year was episode 272, Headlights After Midnight, which was the one we just did, at 1 hour and 45 minutes long total.
Dang.
That is...
yeah, that's nuts.
That's a tight one. That's a tight little episode.
It is.
So that's our high and low this year. Our total running time of podcast this year. This is not counting pregame. This is just mainline podcast with the post-game segment we always do on the podcast. 95 hours, 8 minutes, and 52 seconds of podcast released this year.
Goodness.
This averages out to an average of 2 hours and 30 minutes per episode. So exactly 2.5 hours per episode, which is very interesting.
That is very interesting. Goodness.
So that's all some of the stats. Now I have some animated series stats that I promised later, and we're going to get into those. But right now so the way we did this, instead of, and we always kind of do it, we organize all the stuff we do, not in chronological order, like, well, in the first episode this year, we covered, because that's just too laborious.
It is. We
break everything down by what thing it is. Toy, comics, video games, animated series. We kind of segment them all up. So we're starting with toys, where we picked up in 1995 with the Warriors line.
Yes.
And then ended in 96, and I think we completed toys for 96. I may be wrong.
I believe we did.
But we'll see.
I believe we did.
Because the toy line drops real tight. And like we said, guys, we're getting to the 90s craze is starting to really drop off. We started off with Warriors. And a big addition, a big thing about Warriors, and you see this kind of in the Turtles lines now, is we're pushing to kind of compete with some things that are kind of kicking our butt, including things like the Batman animated series, hot ass Silverhawks toys that have vac metal, and gargoyles, to name a few of the shows that were whipping our butt in this era. The Warriors line, in my opinion, was really interesting because of the vac metal that they used across the line, and the acrylic wings that they had. It looked kind of like dragons, almost
or gargoyles, if you will.
Interesting look, or gargoyles,
and that's probably what that is. But I love that you bring up vac metal with Silverhawks. I because that's what I do. Every time I see a toy with vac metal, it's Silverhawks.
They're the ultimate vac metal toy.
I don't think Silverhawks would have been on the air though, but the toy line, to your point,
it's older. It's older.
But to your point, though,
I knew it.
No. But still, you make a very good point. That toy line, is still the fact that they did that is definitely what we're seeing from here. So you were apt with that. 100%. But those wings are definitely because Gargoyles is coming out around this time, if I'm not mistaken.
And Gargoyles is whipping your butt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Turtles here, and once again, I don't want to paint a picture of this year, but I would say the theme this year we saw in the toy line especially, and doing 2 seasons of the last 2 seasons of the Turtles animated series in Red Skies, there is a theme of the Turtles rapidly trying to reinvent themselves to stay relevant.
Yes.
Since they entered the toy market and the animated series market and the cartoon market in 1987.
Yeah.
We are coming up on 10 years of relative dominance. I mean, granted, what Power Rangers came in '93.
Yeah, 93.
To America and started kind of gaining a lot of momentum. Obviously, things like Batman animated series, Gargoyles, all these other cartoons that are darker and newer are coming in, but they've dominated for damn near a decade. But the theme of this year, especially in toys, I think I can say, is they are scrambling to be relevant in any way possible and reinvent themselves. And I think this Warriors line is a big example of what we saw this year.
Absolutely. And one thing that we use a lot here on the show that we would be remiss if we didn't mention is the TMNTtoys.com. The virtual Ninja Turtle toy museum. It's a great website. Yep. Go check them out, support them, do whatever you can, because they've been invaluable to us. Like that we've basically used them as a through line to kind of guide everything. And if I can't find a photo, I they're the main resource. So they're the go-to. Absolutely. And so thankfully we've been using them, and so go check them out and support them. But yeah, they've got a lot of stuff. Although one thing they don't have in this photo, Ryan, which is sadly one of the best figures from this line, was, I believe it's called Warrior Rocksteady, but it's actually just Robot Rocksteady. When Rocksteady was an android from the animated series.
That is one of the best figures that they made in general.
I think this is one of the best looking toys I've ever seen in my life. Like
absolutely
love it.
Yeah, I remember when we reviewed the Warrior Rocksteady, we kind of lost our shit about him.
We did.
And he is definitely, I mean, red vac metal, gold vac metal. I mean,
just gorgeous.
Looks like black vac metal. I mean, he's got this shiny look to him.
He does.
And then the head being like semi-translucent with the eye windows and stuff.
Yes.
Just like,
it's just chef's kiss.
Yes, absolutely amazing. Yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, just definitely. So good. And so that line. Well, that figure, not the line, because the whatever.
Yeah,
but
the line's rough. But that figure.
Yes. So
Vac metal.
And most specifically Vac metal, MVP of every toy line. Vac metal, just you get
absolutely. If you got Vac metal, I'm in.
Close second, die-cast metal. Also, you absolutely. Put it in the feet. Give it some weight, heft.
Give it a little weight. Exactly.
So, we made our way to the Adventure Turtles, which you can see here. Got some Arctic Donnie and stuff, and whatever this Leonardo is, and this is like this Houston. We have a problem, Leonardo.
This was probably one of the poorest produced figures. The like scuba diving Leo.
Yeah.
From the Adventure Turtles line.
Yeah.
Is one of the poorest made and frankly painted examples of TMNT figure I'd seen Playmates make, where they sculpted all this. And this is a thing we saw through this line, because once again, probably trying to we're over delivering on sculpt, which is cool, but we're way under delivering on paint. And there's nothing more I hate than to see just legitimate, like sculpted on detail, like plants and hoses and stuff that go unpainted.
Absolutely.
And that was a big bell that I rung all year talking about these toys. I was like, why is that not painted? Why is that not painted?
Right.
And it gets to the point where when you have a disparity that's that wide, like if you look at this example of Leonardo, there's more sculpted detail unpainted than got painted. Frankly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, like easily. I mean, between the hoses and the little weed and the little all this stuff, what you painted the crab? That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
And then you see the box art on the back that's pro painted and everything's painted. You go, well, that adds a lot of depth to him.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but over delivering on sculpt, under delivering on paint app doesn't sell you any more toys, Playmates.
No.
And I think that sometimes you run into a situation where you start causing your own, you are a prophet of your own doom a little
Absolutely.
bit, right? I mean, but that I was not impressed with the Adventure Turtles at all. And
no,
remember definitely seeing this and being like, oh, so we're just not going to paint much.
Right.
Of detail. Like,
well,
that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Then that's unfortunate. Yeah. But then, but speaking of less detail, we move on to.
We love these dudes.
We do. There's
sumo,
not a
so sumo turtles from '95.
yes.
It honestly, I mean it. You see, Mega T, Mega Tai, Mega Toe, Mega 2 turtle a lot, where they're just same sculpt painted again.
Yeah.
And the sumo turtles, which was Raph and Mike, the big belly, the just a different turtle sculpt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want that one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
but
it is neat.
I do like the reach for the sculpt of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of, but then going the opposite direction with detail, we got Jim Lee. The Jim Lee turtles. It was a little blurry, but yeah, these figures.
Hey, can we hop on that Jim Lee comics bandwagon? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Turtles, you get on too.
Yeah, you come on too.
You fit just great.
Yeah, and they're nuts. Like I would love to want to like these figures, but they're so bad. And the fact that they didn't include Leo is atrocious.
That's really obnoxious. Yeah, he's one. I know we had a dear friend in Turtletarian, Chris Fawcett, helped us out covering some of this stuff because, frankly, in these years, a ton didn't get made. Like, you know what I mean? There was a lot of unreleased turtles, and he have been putting together the book Rad Plastic, which, by the way, Rad Plastic, what I'm saying? Google that bad boy, see if you can get yourself a copy of that, because that thing's comprehensive if you want to know about, like, all the turtle stuff that happened and didn't happen in the toy line.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It is.
Seeing how far this, like, fell from where they were targeting made it tough. I will say, though, that sculpt-wise, I did like these guys. I think the faces are really unique for a Turtles line.
Yeah.
And they did, the bodies are just big dude bodies, but they did make the faces look like Jim Lee, like his art. Like it, like they have, especially scroll back over to the left a little bit. Especially
Michelangelo
again, all the way.
Oh, Raphael.
Raph. That is complete with like that quasi domino mask kind of thing.
Yeah,
absolutely super Jim Lee. So
absolutely,
gotta give him credit there, but I just don't know if you're looking for Jim Lee. I think you were buying X-Men figures. I don't think you were buying figures.
Exactly.
But cool attempt.
Yeah, cool attempt, but yeah, I just this just reeks of 90s to me, and everything I hated about the 90s just all over it. But one of the things that I loved about the 90s is anime from the 90s, and like just all about it. And the Turtles, we actually this year we'll talk about it again, like as we move out of toys eventually. But since we're here, the Turtles dabbled with some anime, and they got some really cool designs and some really cool figures from the what was this, the Super Mutant Turtles line, or this is the Super Mutant Turtles line.
Super Mutant Turtles line.
Yeah, and this is based on the manga and anime that we will talk about eventually. But
the OVA that they made.
Yeah, this is just, these are so good and so detailed and amazing. And I don't like a lot of retro figures, but these might be some that, if I saw them and the price was right, I might have to get them. But yeah, and then the other thing, you don't ever see like a full line of figures back then. Usually that was the thing. And so here you've got pretty much everybody, all four Turtles: Splinter, Bebop, Rocksteady, and Shredder. The only ones you're missing
be 100.
Go ahead.
What you're missing is what?
Oh, what you're missing is Chris Moo and Dark Moo, and probably April and Irma. I think those are the only.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Oh, and Krang. I think Krang shows up somewhere. But yeah,
that would be so good.
But there you go.
So NECA. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Well,
you know what I'm saying. Let's go across the seas and get that worked out.
Yeah, if they can do that. But I'd be curious if Super 7's going to be doing it, because they got the toy line on lock. The Playmates, they're doing the toys, and so I'd be curious if Super 7's going to be getting at these. And if they do, I mean, Super 7, they're no slouch. So, but so I'd be interested to see if they're going to dabble into this.
For me, this line of the Super Mutant Turtles was all about Bebop and Rocksteady. Their
Oh,
versions in the OVA and the Super Mutant Turtles Gaiden comics were absolutely, to me, the most like stunning redesign.
Yeah.
They were tall and svelte and had a dangerous kind of like wiriness to them. I can't explain it, but the way that they're drawn and animated, they just look, frankly, I like the design a lot. After seeing short and stocky Bebop and Rocksteady for 10 seasons of TAS,
Yeah.
seeing this, I'm of all the transformations that came out of Super Mutant Turtles, Bebop and Rocksteady are it for me. And these sculpts are great, and I would 100% buy these if I saw them like out, at the pawn shop. If I saw them like hanging, like, you know what I mean, like secondhand, absolutely,
Yeah.
I'd be in for those guys.
And I like.
I would definitely put some.
Go ahead. You're gonna put some paint wash on there. Is that what
I
you
would
were
definitely
gonna say?
put a little paint on them.
Yeah.
I'd definitely try to put a little paint on them, maybe because I'd be like, I love these
absolutely.
sculpts so much actually that I kind of want to accentuate them. But
Yeah.
if you go over to Bebop in particular, Bebop's looks about as on par, honestly, with his OVA and Gaiden as you can effectively. And I love it. So that line was about those sculpts. When I saw those, I was like, oh damn, that's happening.
And I love Dark
really
Devil
good.
Shredder though too. Dark Devil Shredder. Just
Dark
so
Devil
good.
Shredder. Don't forget Top Satan Shredder. I mean,
Top Satan Shredder. Yeah, you can't forget Top Satan. Well, moving on to things that I might sell my soul for is more Vac Metal, Ryan. We got the Metal Mutations line of figures. Now, talk about like influenced by, Silverhawks and stuff. Like this is some nice stuff. Like this is from, now I get the names mixed up because the manga and the OVA are named different things. We'll try to sort that out like when we get to it. But this is from the one that was based on the animated series, not the manga. But I get them all crossed up. But nevertheless, this is the 2-part animated series that had the ones we just saw, and then they go into this, and they're metal mutations.
These are the super mutations they do.
Okay.
That let them go to space. Remember,
right.
One whole thing in the OVA was that it's all going down out in space, and they've got to hop up there, and the whole thing is we can't breathe. So they do their super mutations and they get up there.
And that's when they form into the saint, the super saint. Yeah, I think these are the ones though where they're fighting on the rooftop with they're trying to get that ball. And that, I forget what that is. They were trying to get this thing, and everyone was trying to get it, and this was their like Super Saiyan mode. So I kind of conflate the two together, and because I think
I'm very sure that this was the space thing. They went up there, and Dark Moo went up to space.
Yes,
and she had that orb, and she was going to use it to destroy the Earth.
Right.
And Chris Moo basically gave her life effectively to stop her, but because when she went Super Saiyan and the turtles were up in space in those outfits Super Saiyan, and then they combined into like the big dude, they were getting their straight ass whipped by Dark Moo to a degree that Chris Moo had to basically sacrifice herself. I am very sure that's the outfits they wore up to space before they joined into the One Peoples.
That's part 1 of that thing. Part 2 is when they get these, if I'm not mistaken. But hey, let us know in the comments if we're loud and wrong.
Hey, you know what?
Let us know.
Somebody's loud and wrong. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, one of us is going to be wearing Barbara Walters' dress that we're going to talk about here in a few minutes too. So either way,
come 274, someone's going to be wearing that red dress. I don't know who. We'll figure it out.
But yeah, this line was fantastic. They had some vehicles, which is really cool. And then let's see, we had these things, these little marble shooters. What were they called?
Ninja shooters, go.
Yeah, just ninja shooters, and they were neat.
And hey man, you could do worse. I like once again, we're on Vac Metal. It 95, the year of Vac Metal. I'm down.
Like, bury me in a Vac Metal coffin. That's what I'm saying. I want my coffin to be Vac Metal.
Kind of honestly, bury me in a Vac Metal coffin that is the color of Donnie's faded purple Vac Metal.
Yeah.
Because I love no, honestly, I'm not joking. I love how that's faded down.
Oh, I do too. I do. I totally
that light
do.
Purple, it's not so saturated. It looks more like purplish chrome.
Right.
Like, bury me in it.
Right. Now, if you want to, now, we're thinking about dying in the future, like as most people are. But before we do, we're still gonna be doing the show when we're like 80, and we're probably gonna look like these figures, which we're gonna start talking about. This is probably what you're gonna see on Turtle Soup. That's gonna be Ryan right there, and then this one's gonna be your boy. That's gonna be me. Just be like, hey, it's your boy Easy.
The turtle top play sets if
Yeah.
you need them.
These things, goodness.
What can we say about the way that these look? Besides the fact that the one on the left looks like he has too much of a good thing.
Much of a good thing. That's true.
They were what they were. It was another development in the Mini Mutant playsets, and this was something that Playmates had put so much time and energy into. They were really trying to, like, once again, because Mighty Max not only did his thing. Toys, but Mighty Max also had that cartoon, which was hot fire. And here we go. They then put out the metallized playsets. This is a common move, but unfortunately, in this particular line, I don't understand.
I don't either.
We metallized the shell, but left the heads not. And then, see, things were much more simple before they decided to go with the lifelike sculpt on the turtle. And it was a little bit more prosaic. Yeah, but his head's green. Why is his head green and metallic and the other one's not?
Right.
I think.
Yeah, there's some inconsistencies.
Things were simpler when the turtles were more just shaped like a turtle, because when they made the metallized version, they were bad as hell.
Right.
Because now it looks like a metal, like little metal turtle like statue in your hand instead of just like was trying to be a lifelike turtle. They looked actually better in the metallicized playsets. However. The 95 change to the way that all worked absolutely did not work for me.
Yeah.
That's a big no for me, dog.
Yeah. These, you brought up a thing on the show, and I won't forget it because it was so, like, succinct. Like, just like, I didn't, like, I was thinking it, but I didn't know how to articulate it. And you said it, and I was like, that is exactly what I was feeling. I just didn't know the words. And it's the cognitive dissonance of, when you're playing with these, the ones that are the non-mutated turtle, it's like it's different because it's like you can divorce it from what it is, like, and it's the shell and stuff.
Wait, I know what you're talking about, and that's not these. That is the turtle within a turtle playset,
right? Which later are these, but your point was that the different comparing those two was contrasting the turtle within a turtle to the ones that we just saw, the non-mutated ones, right? That, like, that one was different. Playing with these, though, that was a totally different thing, because is this a turtle within the whole turtle within a turtle thing was just not right.
You're playing in a turtle carcass.
Yes.
Yes. It is, something happened. They didn't, like, run this idea past, like, it was almost like they were so busy asking themselves if they could.
Right.
They never asked themselves if they should. You know what I'm saying? Insert Jeff Goldblum, you stand on the shoulder of giants from Jurassic Park. Just play that whole clip. Then come back. That's basically what they did. Because these guys that you're seeing on screen now, it was one of the funnier segments we ever had, I think. This year. Instead of your typical turtle that's on its belly and then you open the shell up and it's like opens like a compact, like almost like the turtle com opens.
Absolutely.
And then once that's there, you forget about it. You're in like a Mighty Max playset. Hell, Mighty Max, there was a rock shaped like a skull. You opened it up and it was a bunch of toy inside. You didn't care about the skull anymore until you shut it, right?
Right.
Whereas this, the chest bit went down and then the back shell went down and the A-frame of their body and head still stayed. Sometimes the head twisted backwards and opened in some like Videodrome, like
Cronenberg,
like body horror way. Sometimes it was a little bit like Jesus wept kind of way. Like there was a lot of like ways that they looked disfigured. And yes, like that's why I finally hit upon it. I was like, no, this is giving me like cognitive dissonance because, for example, you've got Soldier Dawn, right? Yet when you open up Soldier Dawn, he looks like he's been exploded.
Yes.
And then we're going to play with little mini turtles amongst his guts.
Yeah.
And this won my award, and it's so funny because Chris shared some drawings that he had obtained of the design drawings for these mutant within a turtle playsets, right? The turtle within a turtle playset. And you could see that they were very well thought out about how they like opened and shut. And you could see like all the thought. There was so much thought put into the making of them. And I remember one thing we talked about and we really hit on was like, yes, there was so much. It's kind of an engineering challenge and one that was like the one that was obviously met and completed.
Yes.
However, the end result, like that.
Yeah. I always loved that though. I love that point that you made. And then the point where one of them was where you get the playset functional, and then it turns out that the rocket launcher is in the crotch of the turtle carcass.
Absolutely.
There's a little forethought might have helped.
Every one of them either had a thing coming out like a ladder or something going down out of their butt that looked like something.
Yeah.
Or had like, especially in the case of, and I'm not convinced. I said it on the episode, and I'll keep to it.
Yeah.
That old desert Dawn, okay, Gulf War Dawn.
Right.
They put what looked like a gigantic Patriot missile launcher on his shell where his like actual penis should be.
Right.
And I stay convinced until the guy tells me different. And I believe him, and I probably won't. That was absolutely not only a statement on the Gulf War,
right,
but just basically criticizing the machismo, male chauvinist bullshit that is war.
Yeah.
That was 100%. Like, that was like an art statement.
Absolutely.
Is what that was. That was like
Absolutely.
an art installation, except it was in your kid's toy, effectively.
Exactly.
And I'll never be convinced that Patriot missile coming out of Don's crotch,
right? Yeah,
as Desert Fighting Don was anything other than that.
I'm right there with you.
That's where we are.
So, and then this line was so much to cover, and we couldn't cover it all in here. But they made weapons that transformed. They made vehicles, and the best thing about this line, though, hands down, are the minifigures. Like, I just got to give it to them. That's just where it's
great.
at. And these are fantastic. And we came around on a lot of these, and so I was really glad we got to go through them and kind of get a solid opinion on them.
We've been rooting for the mini mutant playsets for a long time now.
Yeah,
that's something that like we kind of got turned on over,
and
we talked because you and I had obviously. I don't know if you and I had much of these. I don't know if I ever had.
I don't think I had many of them.
But you and I both had experience
not
with
M-I-N-E.
Yes.
Yeah.
You and I both had experience with Mighty Max though. And one thing that we did recall, I think, over time was that when you got more Mighty Max playsets, you got more of the minifigures, and you just got to play with more of the minifigures. That was the whole thing about it.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job. If you were collecting these, I know you and I were geeking out about like, damn, like, all right, so Desert Dawn comes with like, the two like warrior turtles. Now those are two Desert Storm turtles we don't have yet. I remember we were starting to add up like how many, and the minifigures are fantastic. I think they're like, I totally agree. I think they're an undersung part of this like mid to late 90s turtle toy offering. Absolutely. The minifigures are great. The detail and the paint.
Yeah.
They look so good
for
what they are.
They do.
And you gotta remember, like, we're seeing a lot of these from like TMNT Toys where these are in hand. These are like the ones that were made, right?
Right.
Like, so it wasn't just back of the box art or the professionally painted. That they look good in situ. And
exactly.
Yeah, big deal. Love it.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of big deals, we got Coil Force turtles, and these dudes are beefy. Let me tell you.
Absolutely.
And they look pretty neat. They're a little too deformed for my taste, but the gimmick was that they had the springs in them that they could do punches and kicks and whatnot. And I don't know if they did kicks. I remember they did the punches. But it's
they're
whatever.
there.
They're there.
They look like they're just something about the disformity of how big their bodies were. I think definitely would have turned us both off at the time.
And I think,
and even now,
exactly. And I think if they would have done them in in the actual like made them the actual figure, like reissued the first line of turtle figures, and just put the spring thing in there, I would have been all about it. That'd have been fine. But the bulkiness of these I didn't care for. But now, lastly, another bulky figure. We got the Mutaforce turtles. Now these
Yeah.
were interesting. Now, if you don't remember, these are the mechs, the turtle mechs with their heads as the torso, but they also got in the little. They were like not quite as small as the minifigures by no means that came with the Mini Mutant playsets, but these were smaller figures that would fit into these turtle mechs.
They were almost like, imagine like like 2012 turtle size is what I imagine they were.
I think so.
Like 2012 was like a little smaller.
Yeah,
but they're smaller than that. But they're around that size, and they fit in an interesting space because of that. It's cool to get a different scale turtle figure,
but nothing. It doesn't go with anything.
It's also awkward for scale when you're playing with the line. Those, I remember being very shocked. I think I discovered. I think you were on top of it. I think I discovered that those weren't like scaled to fit your turtles in them. Like they weren't big.
Right. They weren't
halfway through the review.
Yeah, they weren't a vehicle. This was,
Yeah, they weren't a vehicle. Like you couldn't put like Desert Dawn in there and like shut the little hatch and he's good. Like
at least I definitely don't think they were.
Figures.
Yeah.
No, they were 6-inch figures. You because they were sold on J cards.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
It is.
I remember looking at that, being like, "Wait a minute," and being like, "Oh no!" And you realize these guys are 6-inch scale.
Yeah.
So if you stand it next to your turtle bros, they're going to be as tall, but they're mechs. And then there's a little turtle inside. And that really broke it for me, even though I do love the design and idea of them. I think it's super cool. I made an allusion then that I'll make again to a quick diversion into 40K because there's something very similar.
Mm-hmm.
There are Space Marines that fight demons. That's their entire job. They fight demon princes, which are huge.
Oh, okay.
And they have mechs that look very similar to that. And the idea is that as strong as you are, you're not going to defeat a demon prince in hand-to-hand combat. That's not a thing that will happen. But if we level the odds with a big mech suit that we sit in, like a little baby Bjorn, and we ride that thing, then we can even the odds. Yeah. And I love these guys for the same reason in my head. I kind of thought like, well, imagine like having to fight like some of the crap that Krang and Shredder throw at them, like Chrome Dome, for example.
Yeah.
Never forget that in the cartoon, guys, even though Chrome Dome was made as a 6-inch figure in the line, and that's how we all remember playing with him, as he was as tall as a turtle. He was basically like another Metalhead, but just kind of the samurai-looking evil one.
Yeah.
In the cartoon, Chrome Dome was huge.
Was massive.
He was bigger. Yeah, he was bigger. Oh, like, so
he's
pretty.
Big as my face.
So pretty. Yeah. He was bigger than Krang's android body by a fair margin.
Oh, yeah.
The Turtles would need a mech to fight that. Absolutely, because like you need to level the odds with a thing that big. So I love the idea that the Turtles would build mechs like that.
There you go. There's a size comparison.
That's a good scale reference. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even here they scale him down a little bit, but yeah, he is obviously
definitely
3 heads taller than Shredder.
Yeah.
And that's what he should be. Yeah, you need yourself a mech that size to fight that guy. Like that's not going to happen. With just normal stuff. But when I found out they were 6-inch scale, I got real down on it.
Yeah.
Like real fast.
Yeah. Well, speaking of
made him feel kind of irrelevant.
It did. Most things at 6-inch levels are irrelevant, but or at least there's that feeling, but I don't know about that feeling too much. But what I do know is that that's all we've done in toys for this year. That's all the toys we've covered essentially.
I am certain I would be willing to say 90% or even more that we did wrap up 96.
I think we did.
Like we're looking at 97 and beyond. Because we did the general line for 96 and there wasn't a lot.
There was.
So yeah. So that's it. That was the toys we did this year. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think it'd be summarized pretty much as them really reaching out, trying a lot of different stuff, throwing a lot of spaghetti at the ceiling or at the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if much stuff.
But moving on, we got the animated series. Now, this is we did seasons 9 and 10 of
Yes.
the 1987 animated series, effectively the second to last and the last season of the 87 animated series.
Yeah. So
I
I have some stats on
Ooh,
this
lay it
I
on
want to
me.
open the segment with. And
Okay.
you could jump into season 9.
Okay.
So this took me some time, but I promised when I said, like, guys, I want to pull some numbers together for, so basically on like just how long the animated series that we started covering in 87 when it came out and finished covering in 96 when it ended.
Right.
What, like, how much time was that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We spent a total of 84 of our 273 episodes reviewing the 1987 animated series. So we reviewed it on 84 episodes worth of the podcast, which is 30.8% of our overall podcast is the 1987 animated series. Roughly a third.
Yeah.
If you were to just randomly put your finger on one Turtle Soup episode, there's a 1 in 3 chance it would just be an animated series review of some kind.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is kind of crazy to think that for all the stuff we've covered,
all of it,
how big of a part of it is the animated series. It's about a third of what was out. That's how prolific they were. 193 episodes over 10 years. Like, and it was a massive thing this year to conclude it. So, fun fact, if we released one episode a week and we had to do 84 episodes of animated series, if we just did it all, if we mainlined it, it would take 21 months of Weekly Soup to finish it. So
that doesn't sound terrible, but yes.
I mean, it's almost 2 years, Eric.
It's almost 2 years
of 4 episodes a month, an episode a week.
That's true.
That's almost 2 years.
I guess the thing is, and we didn't learn this until way later. Well, not that we didn't learn it, but we were trying to get through the whole thing. Was doing one episode a week is tolerable, but when we were doing 4 episodes per Turtle Soup episode, that was just a nightmare.
But remember, I think going back and checking it out, I think that the tale of the tape was that when we did more episodes per episode of the podcast, we were a lot more scant in our review.
That's true.
If you go back, because I went back and listened to one of them, that was a 4-episoder earlier last week, because I knew we were going to do this segment for the show, and I was like, because we've been saying that for a while now, how the hell do we do 4 episodes like in one episode of the podcast, and the episode only be like 2.5 hours?
Right.
Like, how did we do that? We were so much more general. I think that when we started doing less, we started like riffing on it more.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, we can talk about TMNT animated series for about 2.5 hours. And so whether we cover 2 episodes or 4 episodes, like, it's still going to be 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Basically. So the total runtime of the 84 episodes that we spent doing the animated series over the course of this podcast totals out at 201 hours, 47 minutes, and 45 seconds.
Oh,
meaning that if you were to play them all end on end without interruption, they would run for 8 days, 9 hours, and 47 minutes.
That's nuts.
Uninterrupted.
Goodness.
And the average runtime of an episode where we reviewed the animated series was 2 hours and 22 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Which tells you that we got it kind of done when we got it done. We got it done. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? But yeah, 201 hours, 84 episodes worth of the 1987 animated series, and it all came to an end this year in 2021 for Turtle Soup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, we did seasons 9 and 10. And Eric, what about that season 9?
Season 9. Goodness, like it came, like, it's weird because it was Red Skies. We were already in Red Skies from season 8, I believe. Yeah. And I didn't know what to expect.
10 were Red Skies.
Yeah. Didn't know what to expect from anything. Like, anything could happen at this point. And I was super excited about it because I remember certain, like there's clips that in my memory of seeing the turtles, seeing the Red Skies, but nothing really stuck with me. And even all these years of my fandom, I never actually like investigated, because I just didn't. And so
hard to penetrate.
It is. And like, but once we got on board, it was interesting. It was like, all right, set up season 9. Here we go. And right out the gate, as soon as we get in there, we get introduced to this fool, this guy right here. And this is your boy Carter. And now we get a lot of introductions on season 9, so buckle up.
Carter.
But Carter, this is Carter with his tooth necklace and his yellow shirt and his jacket. This dude, he wants to train with Splinter, and he rides a motorcycle. So he's about the equivalent of James from Twin Peaks. Like,
absolutely, he is James from Twin Peaks, complete with constantly talking about just getting out of here.
Yeah,
I'm just
absolutely.
gonna get out of here.
Yeah, like if
driving away without saying goodbye to anyone.
Yeah. If he had a figure that was one of those talking figures that you'd pull the ripcord and he'd say things, all of his sayings would be, "Can't wait to leave. Oh, I'm gonna get out of here. Oh, you know,
I'm gonna go back to college.
Gonna go back to college." Yeah, and then the Blink-182's going away to college, and every going away to college song would come on. Yeah, whole thing.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, he's a mess. But we get introduced to him. He has a separate form. You might recognize him in what we affectionately referred to as Savage Dragon Big Bird, as seen right here.
Absolutely.
Yes. You know, POV view. And so then so he just looks like Big Bird fused with Colossus and Savage Dragon and all these just big buff mutant dudes. Mohawk, weird face painting, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, there's that. So he can mutate into this thing, into this other being of himself, I guess. And there's that. We also get introduced to the season's not titular, but season 9's main antagonist, Lord Dreg, seen here, introducing himself. There you go. And
look at how plaintive he looks. Just, I am Dreg.
I am Dreg.
How's it going?
Like he had to clear his throat because he's so. I'm Dreg. Yeah, and
I'm sorry, didn't see you there. Hi, I'm Lord Dreg.
Right, Lord Dreg. Exactly. Get it right. Put some respect on him. So we get introduced to him. Now he's an alien, and he has a friend named the High Tech. And the High Tech is cool as hell. He looks like he would also when he's not the High Tech. Yeah, you got to say the High Tech. And when he's not working with Dreg, he's also the music guy for Space Ghost on his talk show. So there's that.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, everyone's got to have a side hustle.
Everybody does. And so he's a tech guy, the highest of tech guys, if you will, or people. I don't know if his species has genders, but nevertheless. And they also have some cronies, if you will, and that's these folks right here. So we get introduced to all these people,
they're little bug minions.
Exactly. So we get introduced to all these characters in season 9, and the main gist is that Carter wants to train with Splinter, Hamata Yoshi of the Foot Clan, if you will, and because he doesn't know it's Splinter yet.
He looked him up on the internet and figured out where he was.
He did. He got their trajectory and figured out, right here, centralized them, got him.
Yes.
So Dreg is trying to convince the world that he's a good guy. He's doing all this like humanitarian stuff and like purifying water and like curing disease and like, bringing back people from the dead, all kinds of crazy stuff. And he's like, that's his whole thing. And the turtles are trying to, and it was a neat, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say that to me, given that really Shredder and Krang plus, Havoc, which was a evil super mutant group, really took up season 8. That was like the changing of the guard. And then, of course, in season 9, we get Dreg, and he's going to be our dude from here on out.
Yeah.
I adored the way that they played the plot line this season.
Absolutely.
With season 8, we got into that contiguous episode thing where things stick, things matter, and the Dreg fighting that political war against the turtles, not physical, was a huge highlight of season 9 for me.
It was. Absolutely. I was right there with you. And yeah, it was great. And then, Dreg decides that he wants to mess with the turtles' DNA. And he brings about a group mutation where we see this train wreck. And yeah, basically the turtles just randomly group mutation and they get all like big and just weird.
If they're exposed to like some, it's a little bit of a like, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. There's some Bruce Banner to it. Like if they get like threatened or something, or they get mad, they do it. But the problem is that the super mutant turtles suck. Like that's the downside.
They do.
And the series is at least honest about it. Like they do say like they don't have a lot of self-control. Their intelligence is really in the gutter. Like they can't really control themselves. They can't hold their weapons because they've trained their whole lives. I like this detail. They've trained their whole lives to say hold the ninjato like this. And then with these big ass hands, they can't.
Oh, yeah.
They also aren't used to their bodies, so they trip over shit. Never forget the scene in season 9 where all 4 turtles simultaneously trip over the same pipe on the top of a building.
Yeah.
At like ankle level, and they all fall down like in sequence. Like right in front of, I believe it was the High Tech with his like Hive Guard guys looking at them like, wow, like you guys suck. Like and Eric and I didn't totally love sometimes where they were going with that.
No, this is one of the things I didn't like. I kind of liked it towards the end where they started like not milking the whole time. Like I like it on paper, the idea of it. I didn't like the execution. However, one thing that did show up this season that I think we both remember, if I remember correctly, we both loved, which felt like a Batman the Animated Series episode, was I don't remember the name of the episode, but we did meet this character, Kronos. And this episode was nuts. Basically, this guy was classic mad scientist guy, whatever, that decided to do something in a clock tower. The turtles got him and they tied him up and they forgot about him. And so eventually he gets down, but he went mad from being in the clock tower. And so he does all these time puns and all this clock stuff, and it was great. And it was it was just so good, and it felt like Batman the Animated Series, and it was nice because it was the turtles not, they made a mistake, and it wasn't something that Splinter or April or anyone else could clean up. It was just like
it came back for him.
Yeah, irreparably like made this person, like how Batman makes a lot of his villains generally. Or you know what I'm saying. And it's neat. And so I loved this character. He was great, and that was fantastic. Then we also see, let me see if I can find them. We get introduced to these characters, Landor and Merrick. Let me pull over there. From 20 years in your future to save you, if you will. And this episode was very neat. It was, I think it was called Carter the Enforcer or something like that. And yeah, these characters from the future, and they're there to kind of like a Terminator-esque kind of thing, where they're trying to kill Carter, who turns into this enforcer for Lord Dreg. And it's this whole mystery thing. We're not sure like who's telling the truth, like what's going on. And we get to jump to the future where we see not Bravestar. We get to see Enforcer Carter. And he's a badass with whatever those flower things are on his chest. That's cool.
Hey.
And yeah, that was a really neat storyline, and I thought that was kind of cool. And I think the scariest thing about it was to realize that Carter's in the future. That's the scariest thing. To realize 20 years in the future, Carter's still there. And technically, let's see. It would have been a little, well, this was what, 96? So, yeah, you know, he's still in our future now. Like, we would have seen Enforcer Carter now, like present day. Like, that's some terrifying stuff.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah, but that was a cool thing. And I really like that. The one thing I liked about that episode was that there's a line that said, I think Raphael or somebody says it, that they're like, is this race even worth fighting for? Like, why are we even doing this? Like, is humanity worth saving? And I was pretty surprised for a Saturday morning cartoon to like posit that question, you know, just present it. And here's this. The episode ends with them going and seeing Landor and Merrick, these two characters, as children on a playground. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I was not expecting them to do that. So I thought that was pretty neat. And then season 9, bear in mind, the whole season is nuts with Dreg just trying to kill the turtles. He sends bounty hunters after them and stuff, and like all this stuff happens. But the last thing, and I will say that I'm kind of the most disappointed in, is that the last episode of season 9 is called Doom Quest, which, like, you know, by the title alone, I'm in, take my money. You know, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And however, it kind of lets you down a little bit, but it starts off great because we get to see this character right here. Now, this character is named Draconis, and he is sort of like, they're sort of like a herald for this character known as Doom Quest. And this character shows up looking for some MacGuffin, and you know, Dreg or the turtles have it and this and that, and it's this whole thing. But he's also like here to say, I need this for Doom Quest because he needs this. And Dreg is like wetting himself, and like, no, he's like, I'm terrified of Doom Quest. And I would be too if Doom Quest, seen right here, looking badass, would showed up and was like, you know, writing my name down for his boot to go on, you know, you know what I'm saying? So
no.
Yeah. And unfortunately, DoomQuest doesn't do much. There's a bunch of portals that open up into like his realm, the dark realm. And I think the only thing I really loved about this episode was that the turtle van, we got to see the turtle van in disrepair.
Yes.
Like throughout the whole thing. Like it was just
it's almost like, I think at the time we made an allusion to the car in Blues Brothers.
Yeah,
like it just gets like so wrecked in that huge car chase. Like by the time it's basically like a floor with wheels on it, right? I mean, that's effectively what happens to the party wagon, and it's really, really cool. Like to see, you see like the roof come off and like the doors fly off and like the window breaks and like it's super cool. Like,
it
like
is.
you could tell that they really intended to make that like a big feature of that episode was to deconstruct the party wagon.
Absolutely,
it was pretty cool.
And and then Dreg leaves and DoomQuest gets sent somewhere, and that's season 9. And
a big thing though is that April does expose Dreg at the end of that season. So you had that whole idea of like I really loved it because it was a plot line throughout the entire season. Like they didn't forget about it. It wasn't like, oh hey, this episode has Howie and we're at the Grand Ole Opry and he's gonna be the Phantom of the Moxie. Like it wasn't like we just forgot about it all. Dreg was putting on a huge political smear campaign on the Turtles all day long. Advertisements, news spots. He had the news in his hand. Like, and the Turtles, frankly, people saw the Turtles and like screamed and like called for the authorities on sight.
Yeah.
Like, and you gotta remember, if you're coming from a Mirage angle, where like that was always a little of the fear with the Turtles and Mirage. They definitely played that for the real of like, if people see us, they scream. Typically, if we get caught, we're going to be dissected by the U.S. government. That was always a fear of theirs, or sold to the highest corporate bidder or something. And they bring that back here because previously in New York, people were just kind of looked at a turtle and went like, you're looking a little green. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like they didn't freak out. But here, like the Turtles, like we're always in fear of like, well, how are we going to get Dreg, but also not be seen in public because he has like literal posters up on all the light poles, like those classic like pasted on posters, like if you see a turtle say something kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was really inventive, but April does finally expose Dreg for all of his misgivings, and the world does see that the Turtles are a thing.
Absolutely.
We get into season 10, and this is the last season of the series. It was premiered in 96. And this is a season that I would say is very intentionally dedicated to setting up and closing down a lot of stuff. We're turning the lights, kind of like when they turn the lights off in Cheers a little bit. They're like, you know what I mean, not to bring that up for you know what I mean, not to bring. I know that
that's going to trigger me
up for you. You know that just like makes you want to go get the extension cord. But I mean,
oh jeez,
the truth is, you know. Like that's kind of what it is. So in this season, a big thing that happens, and this is a direct follow-up from April exposing Dreg's stuff and, really working with the Turtles. April's got this vibe all season. Like, I don't even want to be doing Turtle news, y'all.
Yeah, she's done.
I've been doing it too much. I'm done. She says it out loud. I mean, she's like, yeah, no, like, I'm not even super paraphrasing. She's like, yeah, no, I'm over here working on a non-Turtles related story. Like,
yeah,
where they go, beep, beep. Hey, April, babe, what's going on? She's like, I'm working on regular news because I told you I'm done. Like, her last, like, favor to the Turtles was blowing Dreg up. And then that was pretty much it. So we see her here in her apartment with her computer. She's on the internet a lot, which is a beautiful thing. It's 96. Things are great.
Oh, yeah.
She has her cool-ass pad. A big thing that happened this season was how I now felt like a little more confident now that we had gotten to this era of life, and really describing how often I would hang out with April in there, and like we listen to Chill Hop and stuff. So those episodes had a lot of me just like kind of opening up more about like where I was in my time in life, and really like kind of living on April's couch and just enjoying the best things about New York City, chilling out in her cool Chill Hop apartment. So that was a big part of this season. I don't know if you're doing pictures, but you're not doing based on notes. So I don't know if you just want to have more pictures, and I'll just talk about what you have on the pictures.
I'm sorry. I was also reading the chat and just getting lost in that, and your dulcet tones. I was just in a chill hop thing. Like it was a vortex of just.
No, it was like you're in April's apartment with me, but
I felt like I was in April's apartment, Ryan. It was wild. Dude, I'm glad that you brought that up.
We can always go back. That's
true.
The good thing.
We can. We have keys.
We can go back to this time.
Speaking of one person who can't come back was the high tech.
Okay, yes, I'll talk about that. So this is, I believe, episode 1 of season 10, because this is how this rolls. After the BS around the end of season 9, where Dreg, frankly, was trying to do it the right way. Dreg was trying to be smart. He was so smart. Dreg was so smart about a lot of things.
He was.
But couldn't get there because of Turtles, because Turtles show up and they bust your kneecaps and like kind of like give you the rope-a-dope, and then they win, and that's just very frustrating for a smart villain. I mean, that's
oh yeah, absolutely.
But as we say, well, when something bad enough happens, like heads got to roll. Like, hate to say it, but someone's got to be a scapegoat.
Yep.
Your boy V High Tech is shot into a chair whose entire purpose is to wrap you up in a straitjacket, drop a aerodynamic nose cone on top of your head, wrap you in steel, and launch like a rocket from its position on the bridge of the Dreadnought, and blow you out through a hatch to go away forever. And that's the first thing Lord Dreg does when he reassumes command of his Dreadnought, his flagship.
Yes.
The High Tech is never seen again.
Never again.
He goes away, and that's it. You and I were both hoping that they were going to Chris Claremont drop that thread and then bring your boy back and pick that thread up. No.
Yep.
Hate to say it, but the High Tech was just gone. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of blew my mind. In his place, we got a character named Mung. And Mung's whole thing is he's kind of the polar opposite of the High Tech. The High Tech was Dreg's first company captain and his right hand man, and with him he brought to the table his Hive Guard, right, which were these like very much like they even spoke like they spoke a language. They were definite sentient beings who were a crack squad that used like rifles and stuff, and he was their commander. And while the High Tech and the Hive Guard weren't the same type of insect looking, they shared that insect vibe, and you feel like that they were from the same place or something. But now without the High Tech, obviously, his Hive Guard is on the bye-bye. So we get introduced to Lord Dreg, who's basically the polar opposite. Sorry, Mung. Yeah. So we get introduced to Mung, who's basically the polar opposite. Mung is a guy who wears his smoking jacket. He looks little bit like a slug beetle kind of combo. He's got some metal plates that come around like a little shell that protect him from laser fire. And effectively, he likes to sit back and work on a couple things. Number one, he likes to command his group of Batmen.
Right. Which I didn't get a picture of,
these
unfortunately.
bat-looking, goony insect boys who don't really speak. They do shoot goo guns.
They do shoot goo guns.
White goo at you.
Yeah.
It could be something. It could not.
Could be.
But
Who knows?
it is sticky. And they can also make them shoot lasers. We argued during the season that they probably should have used the goo more, given that every time you see them use the goo, even though there is some innuendo about it, frankly, it works better than the lasers because they always miss.
It does.
The other thing that Mung brings to the table is his microbots.
Yes.
He has nanomachines that he breeds that he offers Dreg really as like his signing bonus. He's like, this is why you need me, Dreg. I got the microbots.
Yeah.
And it's a cold hard fact that this happens. And the microbots are used throughout the series. A soul microbot in a baby little microbot spaceship that is about the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah.
Mom puts him in his little Hot Wheels sized spaceship and shoots him out a little portal in the Dreadnought, and he flies all the way to Earth, and he crawls and he lands in the sewer and he crawls out. And he shows up and screws up this machine that Donnie's been working on because they've been trying to like cure these mutations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, we got to get mutations fixed. He screws this machine up and winds up turning Leo into like a hyper mutant version of what he normally is anyway. And that's a whole subplot. And that just, you don't need that because he's always like it. And it starts to get a little, because now at this point, Eric and I are like, oh my God, this group mutation, like I just want my turtles. Because the problem is with the conceit of the group mutations, you realize, especially 2 seasons in, is that it's just grating. And every time that there's a super mutant on the show, you don't have your turtle.
Right.
Like we're watching this because it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And sure, in 1 episode or 2 episodes, they might not be themselves and it's okay for a change. But I'm starting to add the minutes of like, must smash. Like, I'm like, well, that's not like the Turtles I'm watching, man. Like that's like a different. A super mutant is just it's a dumb animal that's replacing my characters I like and whatever. So anyway, one big thing that happens in this season is the Turtles wind up when they figure out the Leo problem, and Dreg is starting to slowly lose his grasp kind of on like reality. He's starting to play some real Krang and Shredder games. You know what I'm saying? Like he's starting to get like that.
Yes.
He's not smart anymore.
No.
He's like, I'll grab an asteroid and I'll drop it on the turtles in their lair. And Mung's like, I don't like.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
We had this plan, and it was going to be to use the microbots to assemble a lot of machines, you see.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't, And then we remember that time we talked also about transporting a teeny piece of the sun to every major city and making the world literally capitulate or we'll destroy the whole thing because we're aliens. We don't care about your world.
Right.
We don't need to live on Earth. So we could just burn it and that's fun. Or you could we'll drop one in Paris and then you can say like, had enough of it. I'm pretty good. We'll be your slaves. Like whatever. But he starts to lose his thread.
He does.
And this is around the time. And also Shredder and Krang are back in this series. This is obviously this season has their last appearance.
Yes.
Some of the best Shredder and Krang / Shrang ship you'll ever get. This is Endgame. This is Shrang Endgame is what this is.
Absolutely.
You've seen the bickering, you've seen the traded insults, you've seen them break up and come back again, so on again, off again, so many times. They are in lockstep this season.
Absolutely.
They are summoned by Dreg to come back because Mung actually heard Krang and Shredder talking shit in Dimension X about like, we beat them turtles.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, oh, and Dreg's like, oh, well, basically pulls that what Father Preston always says to us, which is like, did you really say that?
Did you really say it? Right.
Man, I told him, dude, shut up. And Father Preston would be like, did you tell him to shut up? Did you say shut up?
Did you really say that?
So now Eric and I have to do ridiculous shit because we don't ever want to face that question. You know what I'm saying? And be able and say no. Like, well, no, I didn't really say it. You know, like, but I wanted to.
I thought it though.
We don't want to do that. But I thought it. The attitude I was giving off said shut up. But like, and he's like, oh, but you didn't say shut up. So now Eric and I just basically walk up and be like, piss in your face. and that way like we can tell Preston later that we actually said that.
Exactly. It's accountability buddies.
That's basically what Dreg does. Dreg pulls to Preston. He's like, well, why don't I just go ahead and beam him over here? back to Earth and see if they can beat these turtles. So they're prisoners of Dreg, and Dreg offers them camaraderie and to let them help him, and as long as they swear fealty. And Shredder and Krang look at him in his face simultaneously. Both go screw yourself.
Yep.
They instantly both do it. There is no time for talking. There's no like, well, yes, maybe, and we'll think about it later. They both just, without even consulting, look him dead in the face and go. And Krang's like, I'm gonna step on your foot. And Shredder's like, I'm gonna throw this sword at this thing and blow this machine up.
Yeah,
like, it's instantaneous.
It's great.
Really great stuff. Honestly, it's a great send off for Shredder and Krang. Absolutely,
one of the best. I loved it.
Yeah, it makes so much sense because they need each other. And I'd say the last really big plot line is that the turtles do cure their group mutation issue.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? No more group mutations. They fix that. But for a little while, like, they can't fix Carter because Carter doesn't have the same DNA, which is completely understandable. And all Donnie needs to do is just figure out a new sequence, and then he can also cure Carter. And Carter complains, why can't I be cured? Why can't I be cured? And he's just so upset about it. And he James from Twin Peaks rolls off on his bike being mad. And then eventually they're like, all right, Carter, we did it. We figured out the sequence. So now you can get cured. And then he has this whole like, well, and he debates about it again. And then Splinter walks in and basically uses some kind of wannabe old like Japanese axiom that I can't remember anymore. Something about like, you know, when does the moth become the butterfly? And I'm like, moths don't turn into butterflies, Splinter. And he goes,
yeah,
because he sees that all he had to do was say that, and Carter's like,
he puts his burnt Cheeto up
you're
to your
right.
mouth.
I'll never forget this moment.
And it's just,
never forget this moment. He goes, Splinter, you're right. I should fix my mutations and go back to college. And the most important thing is that what Splinter basically was saying with his bad analogy was, it's very clear through the other dialogue. He basically said, look, man, you might want to hang on to that. Because you haven't even learned how to control it yet. Like, whatever. Now, this is the guy, obviously, the only reason Carter's even here, boys and girls and everybody else, is to basically be like, I wanted to learn from Hamada Yoshi.
Right.
But Hamada Yoshi just said, bro, effectively the paraphrasing of, you know, what the caterpillar sees as the end of the world, the master calls the butterfly. You know what I'm saying? Like, basically says that. And Carter's like, heard. I will absolutely become a regular human again, lose all this, ditch all y'all, and go back to college. Right. And that's what he does. Of course, directly after he gets cured, he happens to complain the rest of his time on the animated series about why did he ever cure himself.
Right.
Because he probably shouldn't have, because it made him special. Then, when we're about done with Carter, and we're like, Carter, I swear to God, I will put a pipe bomb on your motorcycle and just let you ride off in the distance and explode.
Right.
Landor and Merrick show back up in another plot line.
Yes.
And they offer to take him to the future.
Right.
And Carter gladly accepts.
He does.
And he leaves.
And the funniest thing, one of the things that we didn't mention is that there's this plot line that's not really talked about like overtly in the show, but Donatello, who's been rechristened as Donnie T by Carter. There is a bromance there, and there's no shame here, but I just wanted to be known that Donatello and Carter, I think that there was some unspoken like feelings that they didn't really sort out, because look at this look on Donatello.
Yeah.
That's the look of a face. That's the look on someone's face when they're trying to convince themselves that your love interest going to the future where you won't see them again really is a good idea. Like, that's what that look is when Carter left. And that's the end of the end of Carter. But one other thing is we get introduced to, before we wrap up the end of season 10, we have a one-off episode with one of the best turtle villains we've ever seen. One of the scariest ones, Ryan.
Okay.
We got the Globfather.
The Globfather.
Yes.
The Globfather, he who helped us name helped us get named the Glob Papas. I
Yes.
mean, it's a whole 9 yards.
The whole thing.
The Globfather had some rather confusing rules about his power set, but he effectively was a mobster character who was basically great value Clayface. It's basically what he is, without the cool backstory of Clayface, unfortunately.
Right.
He invariably at times could make his glop turn into clothes, but then when they were clothes, they tore like fabric and pieces would go on the floor and they just stay there like fabric. I don't understand Globfather's rules. I don't necessarily think that the writers understood Globfather's rules.
Oh, no,
But
no.
it was very important that he give off a 50% budget Clayface and 50% Pizza the Hut vibe the whole time. And he did. And he followed through on that. So, I'm sorry, but Chickney House just dropped. He explodes on his motorcycle, cackling like the Crypt Keeper, which is a Kino reference.
Yep.
A Francisco reference,
Yep.
all in one, and I really appreciate the hell out of that comment.
Yes.
I just had to read it right here.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Mitch Fletcher reminds us really fast that Savage Dragon Big Bird does show up in the 2012 season 4 episode Requiem.
Oh,
so when we get to that 2012 series, apparently Savage Dragon Big Bird shows right back up.
He's in the future. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
I didn't
I'm
know
saying?
that either. I didn't know that either. But
So as we wrap up, the real thing and the way all this ends is with Carter. See you later. You actually got on your bike and ran off to the future, and Eric and I were pretty convinced that he would just complain there too and be like, whatever, come to the future, everything's all futuristic, I should go back to where I should go back to 1996 college, and he just never would ever be happy, and that's just what it is. But without Carter, the Turtles are finally free, frankly, to just be themselves again.
Mm-hmm.
Donnie gets to be the tech guy, because don't forget, Carter started like messing with Donnie T's like tech exclusivity deal, and then Carter's the one building shit, and that kind of bothered me, because like Donnie, like in that last season, especially last couple seasons, like had to kind of share all of his technological advances with Carter.
Oh,
it was him
yeah.
and Carter,
Exactly.
and I really felt like it really devalued him, man. Like, I mean, almost as bad as like Mikey losing his nunchucks like 10% of the way into the series.
Right.
Like Donnie, frankly, the last couple of seasons doesn't have a lot to call his own.
No.
Really? Because and even if he's the guy behind the controls, he's the one explaining it to everyone. Carter's right there, like, yeah, then I resequence the genetics. And you're like, okay, well, like, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So now here at the end, after Carter, Donnie gets to come into his own, which I think is like a really cool thing.
Yeah.
So the series effectively ends with Dreg betraying his own hyper intelligent a code of conduct and his modus operandi, and he starts just going batshit. He wants to steal a bunch of the microbots to make a big suit so he can do a thing, and that's when you get the morpho. Give me a second. The Morphogenesis exoskeleton.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right.
That with the 5 little Xbox logos and all.
Yeah.
And this is Dreg Endgame. He basically spits in the face of any plan he's ever made with Mung, steals a bunch of his microbots to build the Xbox suit of power. Mung says, you're mad, you're insane. Last time we see Mung is just standing among the ruins of everything he had prepared for Dreg to finally use his big plan to take over the world. Dreg just loses it, goes on a one-man killing spree trying to get to the Turtles. They wind up defeating Dreg. And in this very pivotal moment, obviously I figure that you're here for spoilers, because if you're not,
if you're not, then what are you here
real
for?
Upset, but we've been spoiling things for a while now.
Yeah.
The last big thing to happen is that Splinter teaches them this maneuver called the flying claw, and says if they master the flying claw technique, then they won't have to learn any other moves. That he gave them all the tech download complete.
Yeah.
In the pivotal final battle, they do use the flying claw to defeat, hyper Xbox suit of love clad Dreg, sending a miniature black hole into the Dreadnought Mung is assumed dead, or Dreg is assumed dead as all hell. It's just there's almost no coming back from it. You're making eyes like I'm wrong.
I think you're getting season. I think you're getting something because I didn't. I could be wrong because I thought that's when they're didn't they? It gets a little weird. I get mixed up too, because
they blew the ship up somehow.
The ship got blew up earlier that season, I think, because Dreg or last season 8 and 9.
Oh no,
I get it mixed up.
I got you. I got it. It all booted back up. Okay. The way that it ends, another subplot is they go back to the Technodrome. And the Technodrome is like under the water where they left it, and it's super nutty.
Dimension X, where they left it, yeah.
Dimension X, oh, god damn it. Dimension X, where they left it. It's all wrecked from their last encounter with Shredder and Krang aboard it. Super sick. They wind up like trying to get a hold of Krang's android body, which they eventually wind up using, which is super badass.
Yes.
In the final battle, which is just so perfect. And the way that Dreg goes down and goes out is they wind up finding a way to trigger the portal, the huge portal that we constantly saw Shredder and Krang trying to get their army of rock soldiers through the whole 7 seasons previous to this. And they use that huge portal power technology. They finally power it up to kick Dreg's ass right back to Dimension X. And that's how it ends. And Dreg is assumed dead as shit because the way that it went down, because his the problem is that his suit was shrinking because it can get bigger and smaller.
Right.
It was shrinking, and the idea was that like anything that was growing that large would be shrunk down to like the size of like a coffee can in Dimension X, which would kill Dreg.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they kick him out. And then the last big thing is that we got a great speech from Splinter.
We did.
Which I'm going to say, even if you're so basic, if you're doing this so basically and you're like, I don't got time to watch all this bullshit, you should probably try to watch the last episode of this. If you saw any of the animated series, because the very short speech that Splinter gives the Turtles about how I'm no longer your sensei, I'm your equal, is actually bad as shit.
It is.
And it's really good. And then all of a sudden the microwave, the popcorn's a popping. You know what I'm saying?
This is the last frame.
It's the last frame
of the show. Is the
turtles? The turtles say they can handle almost anything, which at this point I agree, except for Donnie's cooking, and that's literally the end. Of the animated series, right there.
Exactly.
Obviously, we have more guys. You know that we have the next mutation that's coming up. You guys know we got 2000. The 2003 series. You guys know we got 2012, but this is the most episodes. This is the biggest part of the whole 9 yards, and it was wild to finish it this year.
Right, it absolutely was, and I enjoyed it. In retrospect, especially like going through it is always difficult, but like looking back on it and thinking about it, I think the last episode was great and it ended well, and it was a lot of fun. But we got to move along real quick because that was work. We had to do it. We had to do it. But we're running
kind of late. So we're gonna go through these live appearances. So we started this season off like on YouTube at least 250 and forward. We did a ton of these live video and video weird stuff appearances of the Turtles to kind of celebrate a little bit of getting on YouTube and big episode 250, and also just kind of give ourselves a little bit of leeway before we covered heavier stuff.
Right.
I'm thinking we just run down these really fast, like
rapid
fire these, because a lot of them are so small.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of them are like so teeny and not super consequential, but they technically, do count. You know what I mean? When it comes to like the journey.
Absolutely. So
Barbara Walters.
Yeah, the Barbara Walters special. Like the biggest takeaway from this is her insulting the Turtles the entire time, and Donatello crying. That was pretty much it.
That's all. That's all you need to know from that. It's really awkward. It's a time obviously shot on the set of movie 2.
Yes.
It's very awkward. And obviously, since it's a bag of tricks, a lot of this stuff came out in different eras. So don't think.
Absolutely.
Well, they're 96. Like
right. No,
this was movie 2 with the full subway layer set with the subway car, and she's there.
Yeah.
Like that set's still up, and it is super awkward. And then she's touching the Turtles a lot, and that's about it.
And she's in this.
And then Donatello cries. Just gusts of tears and like a wellspring of tears. That's very disturbing.
It is very disturbing
in a really disturbing way. So that's basically that.
Yeah, And then we got Operation Blue Line, which brought us these interesting looking turtles. Which
the Blue Line, baby.
Yeah, the Blue Line. It was neat. It was a promotional video to show people in, I believe, California, like a way to use the new transit thing. And we got these turtles. It was really neat.
The Metro Blue Line connected Long Beach and LA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and we got this character. I forget his name. What was his name? I couldn't remember this dude's name. To save my life. God, I didn't look it up, but he looks like John Cusack a little bit, and his whole thing is about like it wasn't Clock Blocker, was it? Or like no, that wasn't it.
No,
I can't think of his name to save my life, but he's got a fedora, like a black hat, and he's just like running around. He's maniacal, doing all this weird stuff. He was inconsequential. I don't think we ever see him again, but he that was part of that.
We don't.
Yeah, Blue Line. If he comes back, I'd be surprised. But that was the Blue Line special, or excuse me, the Operation Blue Line.
The most remarkable thing about that series was that little thing is that it contained the full voice cast of the 87 animated series.
Oh yeah, totally did.
Cam Clark, Barry Gordon, Rob Paulson, Townsend Coleman, they're all there.
Yeah,
and it's such a weird flex to have them there, frankly.
Right.
It
totally.
is super weird.
It's very weird.
That's kind of it. Oh, and the USC marching band plays at one point.
Oh,
that's interesting. So after that, we had the Behind the Shells making of documentary, which was shot during the making of TMNT 2.
Right.
Michael Pressman face, as we all know, that is the human equivalent of the Pikachu surprise face.
Yes.
That we can always use. Gridlock is correct, Shannon, Eric's wife. That is
Thank you so much, Shannon.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
And that's fantastic.
Woo.
Shannon coming in clutch.
Goodness,
Gridlock,
thank you.
of course. Michael Pressman, that's a man who's sent to make the second TMNT movie after parents said boo-hoo, first movie great, but hate dark colors and hate weapons. And he goes, well, how am I going to make this one? And that's the face he made when he was told he was getting the job.
Right.
And that he would get some Chris Craft money out of directing this film so he could make and buy a boat. Because that was what you did back then. You see a lot of really great stuff behind the scenes here, and actually we wound up being a huge fan of this documentary.
Loved it.
You get a little bit of some thinking behind what they were doing. Like, one thing I remember definitely is that, I know we're trying to rapid fire here, is that we realized that, like, when you look at movie 2 versus movie 1, a lot of fans that like the more grim dark turtles, that like the Golden Age of Mirage kind of turtles, the darker stuff, movie 2 is a little bit of your antithesis of almost all that.
Yeah.
Like, you may like the humor's funny and stuff like that, but one thing that Pressman talks about is that he saw that as a challenge. He saw it, and I related to this. He saw it as like a challenge to make a TMNT film that used more of their humor and had them improvising more, because that's what Ninja would do. And you could kind of see, right? Remember, we had the big conversation.
We had that turnaround.
You can see the thinking behind it. Not that, obviously, I would take movie 1 any day. But that the second film, Secret of the Ooze, you could get how on paper you might sign up for it. You might say, you know what, that let's not use the nunchucks, fellow chucker. Let's not do all that. Let's not be crazy. Let's have them doing their thing. However, a big thing is they focus on the animatronics, and that's fantastic.
It's great.
The animatronic work is great. It's a shame. I know it makes you realize it's more of a shame that the film wasn't shot dark, because Henson's work would have looked gorgeous, because it was even more advanced. The turtle heads were way more advanced. The last thing I'll say is you get a true appreciation for how hellish wearing a animatronic turtle head had to be. Like,
absolutely.
It talks about just the servos clattering in your head.
Yeah.
And one of the actors, you see him like just covered in sweat, and he's talking about like, I couldn't hear the stage direction because even though I have an earbud in this ear, that's the voice actor, and that earbud in this ear is the second assistant director who's telling me what to do. The clattering got so loud, and I couldn't see through the holes and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
There's also a really great shot in that of like literally two of the actors like sweating and just like leaning against each other.
Oh
You're
yeah,
like,
just like
that
commiserating.
that felt like brothers in arms kind of
Yeah,
stuff. But
absolutely.
it actually wound up being, even though once again, movie 2 be a little controversial if you like the grim dark thing. Great documentary. I'd recommend
I
anybody
agree.
watch it. It's
Yes,
fantastic.
go back and watch it. One thing we don't recommend going back and watching at more than once is
No.
this nightmare Turtle Tunes. Yeah, this is something we covered where it's the turtles run around singing and making a music video with a bunch of kids that they kidnapped from a homeless shelter, and it's got all kinds of weird stuff in it, especially this kind of scene of Leonardo, which is me emotionally a lot of times on like the 4th of July.
You got the roll punch faster. I mean, that's all you probably need to say about that.
Absolutely. Like it's
once
wild.
again, guys, Turtle and Surge licensing are flailing.
Oh yeah, they're doing
is Barney
everything.
a thing? Did that just come out? Pre-K Entertainment. What's that? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
They watched probably 3 episodes of Barney and went, I guess, and then made this, and it is rough.
It is very rough. It's worth
although
a watch.
It did give us the 3-6 Mafia Turtle Christmas.
Oh, it did. Well, no, this did not. But this thing did. This one did.
This is all the same.
They're I get you. I see what you're saying. But yeah, that's where this one came from. Where
I'm
that
trying to segue you, baby bird, because we wish you a Turtle Christmas.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
coming down there. I'll never forget the first time you showed me that.
I know
that 666. That was
so good.
Do yourself a favor. If you're not a minor, do yourself a favor. Look up 3-6 Mafia Turtle Christmas on YouTube.
Yeah, it's great. It's the best 30 seconds. Yeah, it's wonderful. And not only that, the actual unedited versions gift you some really horrible, offensive Leonardo Jamaican accent or wannabe Jamaican accent singing.
Oh my God!
Yes. It's terrifying.
Really fast, Jake Nias in the chat running that. Writing up and down and round, and I just want to get off.
Oh my!
Do you remember that line from the Carousel song?
Yes.
And we lost our shit over that.
Oh my God!
Because it's all subtitled.
Yeah.
So you see I just want to get off, and Raph's come on. I'll be like, oh
right.
my God.
Yeah, it's wild because for some reason the turtles are in the park with the kids and they get on the carousel. Yeah, It's wild.
Absolutely.
But moving on from there. We go to this thing that I was really excited to do because I'd never heard about it before. I didn't know about this. It was Getting Down in Your Town, which is the official sequel to Coming Out of Their Shells. And this thing was a smaller. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I didn't know if we were still switching off. Getting Down in Your Town. Yeah, it was an official sequel. Basically, plotline is Casey and the Turtles decamp after the first Coming Out of Their Shells to continue spreading their music around. This was performed solely at Six Flags amusement parks.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a circuit they ran. The one that was filmed, actually, fun fact, the one that you can find online, was filmed very close to us at Six Flags, Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
At the Star Amphitheater, if I'm not mistaken, because my mind remembers that stuff, and that's where they filmed it. It was filmed over the course of two performances, with edited footage of them playing live to the fans, edited in. But the chief amount you see, the close-ups and the whatever, was shot with a performance with no fans.
Right.
One thing that people said afterwards about it, which I thought was remarkable, was that when the actors went back to watch it, when it was finally put on a video, they really felt like their energy was so low in the performances to no audience that they used for the bulk of what you see, that they really felt like it didn't do the show justice.
Yeah.
Other people in the community backed that up, saying I saw this when I was a kid and the energy was big, and it didn't feel like this. So
that's unfortunate.
Take it with it what you will, but Shredder does come back in canon, and
he does.
He's got
a tape
because they sent him. They sent him basically to the dark place, in between performances, and they sure do summon him back.
They do.
After watching him on a screen, floating in the ether, saying things at a rapid rate, which is probably demon language.
Yes.
Do they unmute it and listen to him? Yes, they do.
They do.
Could that have cost them all their souls? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me give you guys a tip. I gave you guys a tip on this in the actual episode. I'll just give you a shortened version here. If you ever open a portal to some other place, some other dimension, and someone is floating there who's been floating there for a long time, and especially if you put him there, if you were like, I actually just put this man in here, and he's saying a lot of stuff, and his mouth's moving very quickly, you don't listen to that. You don't listen to that.
Oh, yeah.
He's had time to learn the dark ways, and if you hear it, it'll be in your head forever. Basically, 8mm situation, you don't want to be involved. But effectively, a highlight was the Pizza Town USA song that they do. They do 6 songs, which got very patriotic very fast, with the turtle singing a song effectively about, hey, I've eaten pizza everywhere, but nothing is as good as America.
Right.
And I'm like, I guess because other places have other cultural foods. And they don't have to make pizza, you see?
Yeah.
So if you eat sushi pizza in Japan and say it's not good pizza, then you're doing Japan wrong.
Right.
But they decided to go ahead and get real America First about it. Casey at one point right here, which is a shot I specifically requested from Eric for this very segment because I was excited, is Casey at one point starts riding around on what looks like a small Razor scooter.
Yeah.
There's no reason why he does this. The turtles then are carrying huge American flags. Music, yes, that is one way to call that. That's one thing to call that. And then they throw out foam pizzas to everybody, and it is a big "Aren't we glad we're Americans?" situation that happens.
It absolutely is.
Obviously, this never got an official soundtrack recording like Coming Out of Their Shells, and this is kind of where this boat ends for Getting Down in Your Town. But a lot of people saw this and have memories, clear, very fun memories, because apparently the live show is badass.
Yeah.
They were very crowd interactive. They brought kids on stage, but that's not seen in the recorded and released version. So we saw some low energy weirdness, but I think we do have to give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe in the flesh it was something. It was something more to behold.
Absolutely. Jake Niehaus in the comments saying that the Shredder and Casey fight sound bites in between crowd shots are some of the most unintentionally hilarious scenes of anything I've ever watched.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to glean from this. It's definitely worth a watch. Now, something that you probably don't need to watch ever again is the Turtles' appearance with April O'Neil on the Regis and Kathy show, where they were going around and they were running the circuit trying to let everyone know that Coming Out of Their Shells was going to be on tour. Now, again, this is part of our Bag of Tricks stuff, so it's not in continuity necessarily.
Because from
probably what? Oh, goodness. I don't remember when Coos happened.
From about 1990?
Something like that. Somewhere between 90 and 93.
This is contemporaneous with Coming Out of Their Shells.
Yeah.
So 1990 or 1991. So this is the woman in this, the April in this is the same April as the one in Coming Out of Their Shells.
Coming Out of Their Shells.
The same actress.
And also the same actress that appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show with the same Coming Out of Their Shells turtles, where they got asked about their relationship with April and being in an interspecies relationship. You also had the mom that was dressed up as Donatello and all kinds of other stuff from this thing. This is definitely worth one watch to see where the memes and some of the other stuff comes from. It's pretty funny, but yeah, there's that. And let's see, what else do we got? Oh, I want to talk about this because I want you to talk about the last thing. Then this other thing that came out of nowhere, I had no idea this thing existed, and I was so excited because that's part of what we wanted to be on YouTube for, or we were using it for.
I hate to interrupt, I really hate to cut you off, but I feel like I have to add this.
Okay.
That April O'Neil was played in Coming Out of Their Shells and on these promotional things by Sherry Renee Scott.
Yes.
I want to say that because wait a minute, no, the singing voice is Dana Calitri. That is one of my boy Brad's favorite Broadway singers.
I remember there was something
mentioned that specifically, oh wow, Sherry Renee Scott's in this.
Yeah,
and I really wanted to credit.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that there was some other renown for her, but I couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, no, that's awesome. But you know, that was one of the things about going back and watching these live appearances is finding out information like that. But the other thing we found out was that there was another educational thing that came out, and it was the mystery of the cliffs. Like, no idea this existed. Same time as the coming out of their shells, like same era, because they use a lot of the same costumes. And this is basically where the turtles, Splinter tells the turtles to come out to, what was it? Was it Mexico? No, somewhere like
it was
California, Utah. Goodness, somewhere west.
Yep.
And like. They go out there and they get lost and they get caught up in this cave, and they find the foot soldiers are there digging up artifacts and stuff, and like some of the action is very strange and weirdly entertaining, but like it's not very long, but it's weird, and you get a ghost Splinter that might be the ancestor of Splinter that is also a rat. That is very confusing. And
that was weird.
It's very strange, but I was extremely happy to know it existed.
Your tax dollars at work. This thing was paid for by the Department of the Interior to alert children and kind of inform them about the hidden beauty of our national parks and the natural wonders there, as well as undiscovered ruins of previous habitations you should not be taking any kind of artifacts from, or peeing on, or stealing anything from. The end of the video includes a short quiz in which you are humiliated. Yeah, you don't know what these weird, like prehistorical artifacts and living situations are. Do you know what the beehive ovens look like when they're blurred out and digitized on 1990s VHS tape? If you don't, you're wrong. It's the beehive ovens, of course. They're in New Mexico. You didn't know that shit. Also, the Adobe Cliffs. Did you know what those look like?
Nope.
Thought it was just brown mud digitized. Put it into focus. It's the Adobe Cliffs, asshole. How'd you not know that?
How'd you not
know
that?
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did you think you knew America? You don't.
You don't.
Brought to you by the Department of the Interior. And ancestor ghost Splinter.
Yes.
Who is not Hamada Yoshi's ancestor, who is a old rat version of Splinter, who's already an old rat.
Right. Exactly. And then moving on, one of the last live appearance things that we covered was another thing that we didn't know who it was, much like we didn't know what the cliffs and the beehives were. We saw this horrifying thing. Ryan, can you tell us about this?
TMNT live in Auckland, New Zealand. This originates from 1990. It is one of the most kind of bad and weird, but very interesting things we covered in this bag of tricks. It's way up there for me. So even our native Australian correspondent, Mike Hatfield, didn't know how to explain this to me because this is from New Zealand. And obviously the Kiwis and the Australians, they got like kind of a different thing going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not totally the same, but they do understand because they live so close. They do get parts of each other's culture. Mike was like, I don't know. We didn't have shit like this when I grew up, and it's very confusing and I hate it. And I was like, okay, well, it's good to know. Well, he didn't say I hate it. He said he definitely found it very New Zealandish. Like, it felt like it was from there. He totally buys it. And then it's very weird. Yeah. But so I want to say he was disparaging, but he said like that's not my scale. Is basically what he said. That's not what I grew up with. Don't think that we all just do that over in Australia just because we're down in the southern hemisphere over here. But it effectively was live, quote unquote, filmed in front of an audience for a New Zealand television show, a kids show. Now this thing was on bright ass early, kids. This thing came on at like 7 a.m. on Saturday, and if you're not there, screw it. You don't get to see the bird puppets, and you do not get to see people dance in the dark. That is a thing that happens. The highlight of it is all performed in front of a live audience that seemed very into this shit, by the way. Oh,
definitely.
The live audience these kids were indoctrinated. I think that this show probably been going on for a very long time in Auckland. I think when I did my research on this show dates back to the 70s. Oh, okay. When it starts. It's a little bit like their kind of Muppet Show-ish kid show thing they got going, and it's like it's ingrained. So these kids are there and they are hype, okay? The biggest thing that it reveals is the first and, to our knowledge, currently only appearance of a suited up Bebop and Rocksteady appearing in a stage show. Okay,
Right.
like this is a very hard thing to find because we just went over Getting Down in Your Town. That's the unofficial sequel. They don't got Bebop and Rocksteady.
Nope.
Coming Out of Their Shells didn't have Bebop and Rocksteady. And even like the promotional stuff that they were doing, Operation Blue Line, where there's basically party outfit turtles, they don't have them.
They don't have them.
And we kind of, that was probably one of the biggest, like our biggest, like kind of little magnets that attracted us to covering this.
Absolutely.
Now, unfortunately, what you get is kind of what you get. Because a lot of the times they're in the dark. If you see this image on the screen, this is indicative of the lighting for most of the Turtles sets. Like that's kind of like where and there's a lot of dances. It's a lot of New Jack Swing, and it's a lot of dancing in the dark, boys.
Oh,
Intercut with these birds who are talking about what's going on.
Yeah.
The highlight of this, without a doubt, were these two little dipshit chicken guys. These little baby birds, man.
Yeah, I forgot to get them. Dang. Sorry.
Those little guys were hilarious. They were looking to get to Shredder because they wanted to whip his ass. And Mama Hen over there is like, oh, but we shouldn't do that. And they're like, yeah, we're going to crawl into this hole in the wall and find Shredder. And she's like, well, I guess I got to go after you because that's crazy.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily run into Shredder too much, except when the little chicks get there. They're like, well, I mean, I didn't say I'd fight him. And like they go back and forth on this shit, and they basically chicken out, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And the mom's caught, the older bird's caught. She's like, oh my God, like Shredder's right here and he can see us, and you guys are like what's going on?
It was hilarious.
And then John Klein reminds me
in the chat that
there's a song, the Johnny song, and I can't remember the full.
So the Johnny song was where they had a musical break where this puppet band came out and they did this song about
it was
Johnny
obviously in their canon universe.
Yeah,
like that. It was almost like their version of the Chuck E. Cheese band, almost like it was a band that would come on and do songs, like almost like, and they were in music video form, kind of. It was very weird.
Yeah, the song was dark and had a lot of like weird things. Like I don't remember it specifically, but it was something like, "If you don't love me, I'm gonna end myself," or something drastic, or at least
the lyrics were
very dark.
Yeah,
and I can't remember to save my life, but I do remember that it was very. I almost
have to just know the scene, like.
Yeah, it was these three other.
Have to know.
Yeah, it was these three other puppets.
Just the name of the song, at least.
Yeah,
because we're listening to the we were listening to it. I remember, and we were being kind of like, man, like I want to cover this song.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know what? Maybe it's too good for us. Maybe like it kind of burned a hole right through our brain, and maybe we don't need to deserve it. Maybe that's should go on to the YubTubs where you can easily find the TMNT live in Auckland, New Zealand,
and let us know.
Check it out for yourself.
Yeah,
and tell yourself, like, I don't know, man. Like, would you maybe end yourself if Eric and I didn't get two guitars and cover that song? Because I have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, Eric, can you do earmuffs real fast? Can you like just earbuds? Just you can't hear. All right, so I kind of like really want to cover that song, guys. So if you actually like send an email and just say like I might do something kind of like really really shitty to myself if like I don't hear you guys cover that song, because I don't think Eric will do it if you guys don't do it. And then you could say something like like totally not what Ryan said. I knew it was a joke when he said it, but I feel like I don't know how many more days I can go forward if you guys don't cover the Johnny song from Live in Auckland, and then that way we can do it. And then no one will be the wiser. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and like, get that.
Did you say I can take my? I thought I read your lips. I thought you told me I could. Oh.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
You're good,
Okay.
You're good.
Gotcha.
You're good.
Okay.
I just had to talk to the group about something. That's fine.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Well, we need to talk about some other stuff real quick because we gotta get to sleep. But yeah, so that was all the live appearances.
All right, so that was the live stuff. I think we can blow through some of these. The last thing we really have is comics.
Yeah.
We did effectively.
I forgot. We didn't talk. We talked about the OVA in the toys. We did cover the OVA. As far as
that's
like,
right.
as far as
Animated series, kind of thing.
animated series stuff, we did talk about
Yeah.
that. And it was great and amazing, and that is something you definitely need to watch. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. I want to leave it as a go find that video that we did and go watch it, because it is amazing.
The Foot Clan are actually literally on vacation, and there's a joke about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you cut to seeing the Foot Clan on a beach, like in Hawaiian shirts, like cooking hot dogs, even though they're robots on vacation. It's that zany.
It's delightful. Go watch it.
It's really good. The
You have
OVA
to.
is really, really good.
Yeah.
And it's short.
Yeah.
So you can absolutely pound it out and like just eat it. Like honestly, like watch it over like dinner, and you could probably finish all of it.
Yeah.
It's
And
definitely
it's
worth it.
amazing.
It's really good.
Moving on to comics. So we covered quite a bit. We starting off with the Turtles and Savage Dragon crossover. Now, this is not the first time the Turtles have crossed over the Savage Dragon. It's probably not the last. This is technically, I think, the second time.
Another Savage Dragon.
Dragon, yes. Oh, so good. But yeah, they do it here, and basically this storyline goes from their own crossover special issue put out by Mirage, and then Savage Dragon number 22 by Image. The basic idea is it involves characters from I believe it was Tales of the TMNT, Complete Carnage and Radical. We see them again. They come up, and a lot of the story that happens surrounding it involves a lot of Savage Dragon characters, and it's kind of like
which are outside of our scope.
Yeah, if you're a Savage Dragon fan, it's probably more beneficial for you. But it was neat seeing the Turtles interact, and that was kind of cool. So there's that. We then covered the Creed and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover, which was neat. That was put out by Lightning Comics, and
Lightning Comics. Trent Kanuga's art is amazing. That's
great.
One big takeaway we took. Even though
his
Creed
turtles are
really
fantastic.
Isn't our thing.
Yeah, his turtles.
We don't have a lot of experience in Creed, and honestly, Creed kind of falls outside of our mandate anyway on this show. His turtles are amazing. His art is amazing, and I would just love to see him do more turtle shit. Frankly.
Oh, absolutely. I'd watch.
Just super great.
Yeah, I'd totally get one of his books all about the turtles. Yeah, his artwork is fantastic. So then we move on to Mutant Turtle Gaiden, and this again was one of the most delightful things that I think we've covered. Like everything Turtles Japan, that combo is just everything I want out of the Ninja Turtles, and it is wonderful. So we did chapter 1, which involved Shredder having a weather dominator, and he kidnaps April to show it to her and stuff like that. And now, I need to back up a little bit. This one is based whereas the manga and the previous one that we did, I think last year, but the OVA has a lot of the references to it. That was based on its own thing. This is based on the 1987 animated series, but a Japanese interpretation of it, and it's delightful.
Yes, it's different. So
it is it's still different though. But Shredder having the weather dominator, bringing April to see it. That's chapter 1. Chapter 2 has these phony turtle robots that are like just these fake turtle robots, and turtles have to fight them, and the art is fantastic, and it's so good.
Art is so good.
Yeah, and then chapter 3 is it's titled "The Strongest Weapon: The Devil's Monster," and we get to see Shredder getting this device and all this stuff to bring a portal to open a portal to bring the Technodrome effectively.
Absolutely.
But with I think it's a Daruma, this Japanese thing that has this face on it. But that's where the eye is on the
eye. It's that.
Yes,
it's like the Daruma mask or whatever. It's super cool as hell.
And it's called,
it rolls up in your world, and it just starts spitting like devil dirt right in your face, and it's just real bad.
And it's
awesome.
It's called the Devil's Monster, and it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And then chapter 4, this was a bonus thing that came out, and it has some great artwork, and and Irma is present in all of these, I believe, or at least in a few of them, but especially this one, number 4.
It's side character,
So chapter 4 happens to involve Splinter and Shredder both feel like they're drawn to Japan. They got to go there, so they do, and they Shredder gets there. Oh, by the way, Shredder gets there with a submarine that's using the same head from the Technodrome on there, like the Devil's submarine. It's amazing.
Yes.
They find that what's drawing them is let's see, what is it? The Muramasa blade, which is this ancient blade that has the ability to take over the human mind. So Shredder uses this to try to take over April's mind, who's there covering this story of this sword with Irma. She's there too, but Shredder mistakes April for Irma. Is that right? Or Irma for April, and
yes,
gets
that's what it is. He's like all these white chicks look the same, and he grabs Irma and starts to do the thing.
Right, and so Irma gets like possessed by this sword, and I guess the thing is that whoever the sword possesses you by, or whatever, who causes it, you have to go kill them or something like that. I kind of forget. You need to go read it. It's amazingly beautiful and just great, and it's hilarious. And you get like
Irma goes
fantastic.
full like Kurosawa on the whole thing.
Yeah.
And like basically chases Shredder off into the night, because she's like, I have a life oath to kill you. And it's like,
and that's it.
Okay. And that's how he walks right out. That whole 4-part Super Turtles Gaiden, is that what it's called?
Mutant Turtles Gaiden. Yeah.
Mutant Turtle Gaiden. Is well worth your time.
Absolutely.
The optical internet translation gang.
Yeah.
And the people involved in translating it do a great job, not only of translating obviously the language so you can read it, but adding really awesome editorial notes into it, kind of explaining some of their translations or things that appear that may culturally be a joke, but like it's a joke in Japanese culture, so we don't get it.
Right.
Because the dialogue doesn't work, or a visual like that
yeah.
Damn it, I can't remember the name of that face from that we were talking about from the Devil's Monster.
The Daruma. The Daruma, I think is what it is.
Yeah, that guy.
Daruma.
Like obviously, like that face would mean a lot more in Japanese culture than to us.
Yeah.
So if you grab those, and those are just on the internet, you can just totally find those. And
if you have trouble finding them, TMNT Entity is where to look. And I think Adam Winters had a hand in that too, making these
of course,
available. So shout out to them. But yeah, definitely check that out.
Huge work from all of them. And this isn't the first thing that they brought to us. That was a manga that they brought to our table.
Right.
So big ups to them.
Absolutely.
Then so you want to tackle the Year of the Turtle, and I'll take on Body Count?
Yeah, absolutely. So Year of the Turtle, the last Archie Adventures thing that, at least I think. But we thought we were done. We came back.
It's way later, but whatever.
Yeah. But this was one of the first stories by Dan Slott, I believe. And this is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And yes, your screen is not deceiving you. They're fighting a version of the Power Rangers, if you will. And
absolutely.
Yeah. So this is called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures, the Year of the Turtle. Now, essentially, real quick, what this is that there's this thing that happens with the 13th zodiac sign, which is the turtle, like that's the representation of it. And something with the stars and like this power, and there's a MacGuffin that Shredder has to get these amulets and stuff, or excuse me, talismans. And at some point that it's on one of these like Power Ranger actors, because at this time Power Rangers is blowing up, so this is kind of like a metatextual thing of like the old guard fighting the new guard, and it's kind of funny. But long story short, they end up like going all over the world trying to find these things, and they find them, and we get some new villains. There's let's see, who is it? Shredder makes new friends with Siberius, this like weird Matrix tech kind of looking dreadlocked dude that's got all these wires on him. TKO, I completely forget what he looks like. And then Sonic, which is this other lady, and they're kind of unremarkable, really. Siberius is really the only one that's remarkable. So anyway, long story short, they have this battle. At some point, they're in this Himalayan like castle, and there's a lot of Indiana Jones kind of vibes to this thing, like globetrotting thing. And what's one of the things that's neat is that the turtles have to escape down this snowy hill, and two of the turtles like go in their shells, and the other two surf on them, and it's pretty neat. That's one of the cool things. Eventually, Shredder has this that gets imbued with like this power to be able to, like, if he inflicts a blow on one of the people, which he or anybody that's a mutant, specifically Splinter, it can demutate them, and that's what happens. Splinter gets wounded and he demutates, and that's a threat throughout the whole thing. Well, the other big thing from this book is that it's bookend each issue with Hamata Yoshi talking to some character that we don't see, and they're in a bed, and it's like a bedtime story of the last Turtles adventure. This is what it's billed as. And so after all the globetrotting and everything, eventually Michelangelo gets hit with this same retro mutagen thing that happens to him, and he becomes a small baby turtle.
He does.
Sorry, I had to wet the whistle. And then and then the turtles, like, the art shows them having mustaches, not intentionally, but just the shadow. It's kind of strange. You should look it up.
It's art,
But they end up getting in this, like, fight with Shredder, and at the last second, when everything's lost, the baby turtle Michelangelo goes and I think he eats a pizza, or something happens with a pizza and someone's it's kind of a blur. You have to go read it. It's great though. But that triggers it, and then you realize that, oh, this brings Michelangelo. You realize that the person that Splinter has been talking to and reading this story has been Michelangelo, who's growing back up after being demutated.
He's re-raising Michelangelo over again.
Right.
It's now, super badass.
It is fantastic. And it's, I don't know, I could only imagine reading it in the back in the day and being like, oh, wow, I did not think. And it's so clever because, like, that's the last Turtles adventure, because they haven't had any other adventures after that, because they're still dealing with Michelangelo, like, doing this. So it's like, that was the last adventure.
They reset the clock a little on that. It's very, and what a smart way for Slott to come in and really finish the series, kind of, frankly, but then throw all that heart into it at the end.
Absolutely.
And really, like, the last thing you're left with is just realizing that, like, I mean, they are a family, and that's what Splinter would do. He'd just re-raise Michelangelo again.
Yep.
Like, there is no fix. There is no, like, oh, and then he gets remutated. Like, no. Like, he has to grow up, like, again.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Fantastic. Well worth your time.
So the last thing we're going to cover today, because it's the most recent thing we have covered, we're not even done with this yet.
We're not.
We've covered 3 of the 4 issues of the Mirage/Image Comics Casey Jones Raphael body count.
Mm-hmm.
This started as one of the last Mirage comics to get kind of authorized and printed, actually, Body Count 1. They originally wanted Body Count to be a 5-part series.
Yeah.
They're going back to the Casey and Raphael wheelhouse. Those boys who first met each other in the Raphael micro series. The first Turtles micro series come out in the original Mirage run, and the first appearance of Casey Jones, if you need him. So they have a lot to hang their hat on when it comes to this pairing.
Yeah.
However, Mirage ceased publications and shut down business of printing comics after Body Count 1 was put out. This led to the transition to Eric Larson and Image Comics, who stepped in, reprinted Body Count with this excellent cover you see here, which is good. Just kind of want a shirt of that. Pretty great. Yeah. And then went forward with printing the first Image Comics, first printings TMNT material, which would be Body Count 2 and 3 and 4. So this is a prelude to Image proper, which we've been looking forward to for a very, very long time. This is a little of that introduction. The short and sweet on it is this woman named Midnight runs into a club to escape Johnny Woo Woo, who is an assassin. He has 2 augmetic hands and 2 Glocks. You might call him Johnny 2 Glocks.
You might.
He's the best assassin in the world. This is laid out many, many times. This puts Johnny 2 Glocks directly in the path of Casey Jones and Raphael, who decide to aid Midnight in trying to get away from this killer. While they're aiding her and running away, we learned that Midnight was once a partner of Johnny 2 Glocks, but it turns out she got set up, took the fall, and then he was hired to go kill her, and we still don't know why, because we're not done yet.
Right.
But effectively, she's on her way to a place called Sanctuary, which Eric and I both at this point in time, so this might not be accurate, and next episode when we finish it, we both believe is a sanctuary is a term for a place that, due to some kind of assassin's code or criminal family code, where she would be safe from any reprisal, somewhere that she can't be hurt, almost like the old idea of a church sanctuary, the idea that, like, no one can come in and get you if you have asylum in the church. It's kind of the same thing with this sanctuary place. It's a lot of guns and a lot of shooting. It is the beginning of like a mega bloody, crazy image run of the Turtles. So they're kind of birthed in blood and flame in this series.
Right.
The art by Simon Beasley and layouts and story is by Kevin. So there's like kind of like a little bit of a marriage there. But bro, like, Simon Beasley's art is classic English counterculture.
Yep.
Super messy and gross. Almost the most accuracy ever put into it, the most fine detail, is to make things a little more grody and unsettling and greasy and gritty. Like that's where all the attention's put. Very similar to Steve Dillon and other artists in that style. It's not really Eric and I's favorite, but we totally have many fans of the show that absolutely love this shit and are like, y'all need to like, you need to tread carefully. You know what I'm saying? About what you say about body count. So, and Eric and I, obviously, the way we always do with these kind of things, as we've moved through it, begin to see the good sides and start getting a more rounded perspective when we're reviewing it and understanding where it sat in the culture at the time. You can never deny the amount of work and just overall, I guess, blood, sweat, and tears that went into the book, regardless of what you think of it. It is a high combat book, and it is just blood and guts. It is the bloodiest. It's the bloodiest comic that TMNT has ever been in. I would wager to say. I don't think there's a more grotesque book that they have been in. So this is
I don't think so either.
Moving into the image.
I
mean, people being cut literally in half and turned inside out by gunfire in full 2-page spreads, like full splashes. It's really intense.
Well, where Mirage gives you that, where Mirage gives you that thin white line, you know what I'm saying? That thin line.
You know what I mean?
Image is like, well, here's everything. Like, just they're gonna show you more.
Also,
so
M. Wilson chimes in with hits from the dong. You know what I'm saying? You might have to go back and actually listen to 272 to get that. It was very funny when it happened.
Very funny.
But yeah, hits from the dong.
Hits from the dong. That's one to grow on.
Related.
Yeah. So,
and that's pretty much it. Unless you had any thoughts on body count before we conclude.
I don't think so. No. I think that I think we did a pretty good job summarizing an entire year of episodes. That was a lot. And we did a whole news segment.
A year and an hour and 56 minutes. So I mean, there you go.
There you go. But goodness.
I want to say, sorry.
No. I was just taken aback by everything. Just thinking about all that we've done and all the changes that have happened this year, and just like, thank you guys so much for being with us. And like, we wouldn't be here without you guys. And shout out to everyone in the chat that's been here the entire time we've been doing this. Like, this has been a blast.
The commentary's been beautiful. And, and it's been so great, like, kind of doing this with you guys. And obviously, all year long, it's been great. This was the year that we started on YouTube, and it's a scary, weird thing to live stream and think like, well, I hope people show up to this, and be kind of foolish to have no one watch this. And subscriber numbers are slowly going up. Like, everyone says, your first year on YouTube is kind of like, kind of intense and kind of slow and kind of, oh my God, like, and you guys have been here. All you guys that come in for the live show and stuff like that, it's fantastic. So I also say thank you a lot for making 2021 like a really rewarding year while we try a lot of new stuff. You know what I mean? We've never done before.
Yeah, definitely. And if there's anything we missed, which I don't think we did, but if we did, definitely let us know, because That's
Let us
because
know.
we just need to know that we missed it. But I think we got everything.
Absolutely.
So, what was your favorite thing that we covered this year? Was there anything that like you wanted to see more of from the turtles in that vein? Like, do you love the body count stuff, or do you wish they'd go back to some of the adventure stuff? What do you want to see? Like, what was your favorite new character? What was your favorite villain? We want to know all this stuff, and you can tell us by going to your email of choice. And you can email us at turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. You can also find us on the home of the internet, turtlesoupshow.com. Usually, I think it's working on your end. On our end, it's not. But hopefully, by the time you hear this, it'll be fixed.
Something else. We'll see.
We'll see. But nevertheless, that's where the hotline is, or the hotline's the Gmail, but the home of the internet is the .com. And and if you want to stay connected with your fellow Turtletarians, be sure to head on over to Facebook and join the Turtle Soup group. A lot of cool people there. A lot of news gets dropped there. It's a lot of fun. You can follow us on Instagram and other social medias. We're around a lot of them. And there's that. Also, if you're just listening to the audio when it finally comes out and you haven't come over to YouTube, just help us out a lot. And it'll probably benefit you a little bit to see some of these things we talk about. So just subscribe and like our videos if you don't mind. It helps us out tremendously when you do that. And it's a lot of fun. And again, thank you to everyone who's been here this entire time. It's been a blast. And but if you want to go the extra mile, go to Patreon, find We Dumb and Making a Podcast, Turtle Soup, and we've got some stuff for you. And you throw some pennies our way, you scratch our back, we scratch your back a little bit. And I'm going to be coming up here in January. I'm going to be working on getting all the sorry about that. Going to be getting all the last years, the last half's Patreon rewards going out. So.
Yeah.
Be looking forward to that. And if you are a patron and you've moved or whatever, let me know so I can get your address right. And I think that's pretty much it. I think we've done everything we could possibly do this year.
Should be it. We'll see you in the new year with episode 274. We'll be finishing up body count.
Yep.
And then we have a wide open plane ahead of us. So
we do.
We'll figure all that out. But thanks again for being around, and we will catch y'all on the flip side. So until then. Else time.